Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're good. Kanpai!
Hey!
I haven't actually poured my drink yet.
You fool.
Outrageous.
You foolish fool.
So, everybody, welcome to episode 72 of Kanpai Cast. This is the Winter 2023 3-episode roundup rule, where we review the series that we're watching up to the 3rd episode, just to see if it's actually any good. Before we start, it's time for a little housekeeping. Just to remind everyone that we love you and respect you, that you have our support, and that we are going to be proud of you whenever you make the effort to improve. To show our love, we've put in timestamps and chapters that allow people to navigate the show to find a part they're interested in watching. Any spoilers for the show will also be timestamped, so you can avoid those if you want. Hit the like button for more Kanpai Dad words of praise. The charity stream that Xeno is organising 24 hours in the Lands Between, which is supporting the St. Jude Children's Hospital and is on screen right above us. There you go. That is starting next week. Okay.
Well, so for people viewing the episode, it'll be the 2 day, like a day after this airs.
Oh God, yes, that's
2 days.
literally going to be
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
So next week as of recording, because we're from the past. We are from the past.
Time travelers.
So, alrighty, we're going to have to move on to our actual show this week. And
should we
just
explain
to,
why you're here and why it isn't?
Well, it's a standard thing, unfortunately. When poor Loz has a debilitating case of death, we have to temporarily replace him with me while we clone a new one.
You see, if you play our last Kanpai Cast backwards, it says it actually says Loz is dead. So you know, I mean,
yes, several times throughout the episode. So the question is, it's much like that old question from Borderlands. Are you actually still you, or were you the one that died at the beginning and got remade by the new U station? So either way, let's move on a little bit. So this episode, we're discussing the 3-episode mark of the winter season. And before we begin it, we're going to take our time and make our ranking system clear. There's been a little bit of confusion as to our rankings. And thankfully, Nasuth has gone together to put a lovely graphic up there with some explanations, taking us the whole thing. And it's a 5-tier ranking system, but it's not like a 5-star system.
Although we are going to add stars in the future.
Yes,
eventually.
Within the categories.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So, but this isn't like that kind of ranking system where we just say how much we liked it. No, this is based on what we think that you, the audience, will actually enjoy as well. And of course, recommending to each other, because not all of us watch the same shows, not all of us are into the same thing. Yeah, we're fairly open about that. We're also really, really biased, and we're trying not to be.
Speak for yourself.
I always do. That's why I'm so biased. So yeah, these rankings are our takes on whether people watching the shows would also want to watch them, based on how good we find them. So yeah, let's get on into it. Winter season.
Why didn't that? There we go.
Cool.
So who wants to kick us off?
You can.
Alrighty. I'll start off with let's just start off at the top of the list, alphabetically. My first is Chillin in my 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army. And
So what are you going to rate?
I'm going to rate this right off the bat. Nothing special. It's of its type. It is a standard fantasy story where the main character was misunderstood in whatever role he was in before, gets out of that and into a new situation and finds that he's very powerful, and life starts improving for him. What made me laugh about it was that to kind of disguise where he came from as the Demon King's army, he actually describes it the way a salary worker would have. My boss's son took over the company and fired me from my job because he said I was useless. So here I am trying to find a new place to be and a new place to live. And
Amazing.
it just hit that thing of, I think a lot of people would actually be able to relate to. But of course has that power fantasy thing where it turns out he has the same power that all the humans have in his world. And just a huge amount of it. He's a genius at it. And I think they attribute it to the fact that all of the demons in the Demon King's army can use magic. And so they taught him all the imaging techniques to actually try and use it, but he couldn't.
Is that a giant ant?
Yep.
Yes, it is. It's a giant ant. And because he leaves the Demon King's army because he thought he was a demon, and he finds a village full of humans, and our supporting lead female character, who is very enthusiastic about what she likes. The things have only been escalating. She's found a nice guy and she's just going to go for it. And I appreciate the honesty, but it's kind of setting expectations a little too high for anybody that has been fired and goes to move to a new location. Because not everybody's going to be a big titty helpful girl that's strong enough to punch a giant monster in the face.
Yeah, but a man can dream, right? Yeah,
no, a man can dream. The fun thing is, of course, is that her father's there in the shot on screen, and he's the village chief or the mayor, and also the head of the Adventurers Guild there. So immediately he kind of like suckers our guy into being an adventurer for their tiny village that only has one other adventurer.
It was quite a funny moment because our main character still heavily believed that he was a demon, and demons can't be adventurers. The magic does not mix at all. He thought he was going to be outed, and to the point of the female lead and the mayor basically held him down to get him to actually register, and nothing happened. Wait, I'm a human?
Oh my god!
Okay, that's actually pretty funny.
They took him out to teach him the human version of magic, which is aura. There's 4 types that you could have, and for some reason they're really simplistically named as slash, hit, sting, and protect. And so you use hit when you're wanting to smack something. You use slash when you want to cut it. Sting when you want something like an arrow to pierce something, or to throw something accurately, and protect when you want to shield yourself. And he tried using slash for the first time and cut through a rock.
I thought it was a tree. It was a really big ass.
It's giant tree stump type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he cut through the target entirely. And it turns out he's got perfect control over that aura type. He's never used a sword before because they kept trying to get him to use magic.
In the deep
so to test himself further, he uses sting with an arrow and blows away the target with that. Blows a hole straight through it. Then the hit, which is what the chief uses, he ended up getting a perfect score in that. And finally, when the chief goes a little bit like, I'm being shown up here, and he comes up with a gigantic metal hammer because his specialty is hit, and this is to test his protect ability, and gives him a little wooden shield that he has to hold with 2 hands. And using all his power, the chief can't break his little wooden shield. And I think does he bounce back, or does his hammer break?
He does bounce back. No.
Yeah, he bounces back.
Push back. Yeah.
Yes. So he actually gets pushed back, despite that being his specialty. So he gets a perfect score in all his aura types.
Of course. I mean, it wouldn't be an is this isekai? It is an isekai?
No.
No, straight fantasy.
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, never mind then. I was going to say it wouldn't be an isekai without an incredibly overpowered main character, but yeah.
Just to sum this up, basically, it fits our Nothing Special rating perfectly. It's another one of its type. If you like this type of anime, you will like this. And if you are looking for something a little bit more engaging, move on, find one of the better ones on our list. But for a bit of entertainment while you're waiting for your other shows to update, why not give it a try?
Cool. Should we move on? All right. I'll go next, and I'm gonna go. I don't want to say the bottom of the barrel, but it'd be pretty damn low down the barrel.
I know which one he's gonna pick. Because
I bloody showed you yesterday.
It's this one, isn't it?
Yep. So, The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, Northern War. Right. This series, I'm gonna give it a pass. Right.
Wow. I would totally given it a poop just from what I saw.
That was just the third episode, right? So the first two episodes are pretty damn solid. They give you a proper frontline war setting. You have monsters to fight and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. It really sort of elaborates on some of the the politics involved, some of the subtle nuances of what's happening to these war-torn towns. You got refugees that are trying to just make survive and things like this. So it was really, really well done. The animation is not the best, right? But then we had the third episode. All right, I'm hoping some of the footage will actually appear during the course of what I'm saying. But the third episode, the animation devolves so bad that I question whether or not it was the last thing they ever animated for the actual series. There's no real rhyme or reason as to why they have infiltrated a neighboring nation. They are attending a party with no objective whatsoever. It's just you're just going to be at this party now. And two of them are in the party and two of them are out of the party. The ones that are out of the party just basically have to keep surveillance, but they are wearing the most, oh god, what's the conspicuous garb for spying I've ever fucking seen. They might as well just use bloody fluorescent jackets on a highway.
That guy looks like a main character. You better not mess with him. The one of the characters completely abandons her post, who is the main character. She just completely abandons her post. And this is reprimand level of shit going on right now. She's exploring this foreign country and you're supposed to be keeping a low profile. Why are you interacting with all these people? And then she just randomly finds a terrorist clown. A literal clown. Makeup, a rainbow wig, the whole kit and caboodle. You showed me that bit. Wow.
No, I didn't get that far, right? I'm really hoping that the good shots will stop appearing and the bad shots will start appearing. The animation falls through the floor. There's no justification as to why the clown is attacking this party. Apart from, basically goes, I lost my job because of you people. Really? You're just going to target the whole party? And then, oh god, yeah, it's awful. It's just,
I'm crying on the inside. No, you'll be exploding on the outside.
That's okay. So that's actually a really good point, right? So he's attacking the town, right, or the city or whatever it is, with mascot cats that are throwing what looks like dynamite, but it's not dynamite. They're fireworks, right? They are popping like fireworks. They have the lights and everything. It was just what is your objective here? And again, what's really weird is the mascots. They're not actually holding the
the dynamite in their hands, the gloves have like popped loose, like they're mittens attached to your sleeves. They've popped loose, and the dynamite's sorry, the fireworks are just popping out, and then just somehow getting thrown. It's awful. Like the third episode is like, not only has it put the final nail in the coffin, but it's put the whole coffin together in that one episode, and it's yeah. I don't want to do not want to keep watching this. I'm like, now, done already.
Okay. I do know that this is in fact based on a video game series, and while I have not looked into the games themselves, I have friends who have played them and say they are some of the most boring, like pointless game or JRPGs you can find, and yet somehow they're incredibly popular.
God knows. Yeah, but it's like, but the animation of huh?
Mm-hmm.
Of the popularity of the games, lowest common denominator, maybe. Just
very possible. People just want to read the story. Because they're so generic, they just yeah.
All right, go on, Nasuth. Your turn.
All right, let's go to Buddy Daddies.
I watched it specifically because of that title.
I really had high hopes for this one, and yet, in fact, I am going to give it a poop. I know it's harsh. Other people may disagree with me. They may just give it a pass or nothing special. I was super annoyed by the end of these 3 episodes. But I mean, I didn't like my 2 dads either. So maybe it's just format. I don't know. The episode 1 starts out kind of nice. Like there's some good action. They kind of introduce you to our characters' general traits. You know, like there's the blonde guy that we see right here, who is always sort of carefree and, you know, just happy to be doing what he's doing. And then there's his partner, who is black, dark haired, is a shut-in neat sort of type of person, doesn't talk very much, just wants to get the job done. That guy right there, yeah. And that's great if they expanded on that at all. But in the first 3 episodes, that's all we really get of these 2 characters. And almost immediately, once they introduce the little girl, oh my god, it hurts. So, I know it's not fair to compare her to Anya, because Anya's amazing. But she is no Anya. She is annoying at every scene she's in. She's like screaming or laughing and, you know, really maniacally running around, being a nuisance. And I know this is true to life for kids, but I don't like kids. I'm just gonna say that. I don't like kids.
How old is she?
I don't know. Like 4 or 5, probably.
But that's true to form for 4 and 5-year-olds.
No.
Yeah.
But it's annoying.
Can have redeeming qualities.
They also never try to reprimand her at all for any of her bad behavior. There's like, oh, isn't she cute? Isn't she precocious? She spilled some coffee on, like, trying to. She constantly wants to get held and everything, but will get in the way and knock stuff over. And they're just like, oh, it's precocious. Oh. She was in a shootout, just running all over the place, having a blast, and they're just like, oh man, we gotta be more careful with her, man.
Hold on. Right, okay, so the spilling of the drinks thing, I can understand. She's a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but you still tell her like, don't do that. You know, you gotta be more careful in the future.
Regardless, the shootout.
Yeah.
Right? She's not running away. Like, big, loud bang noises.
Yeah.
No.
Right? She's underestimate how loud gunfire is, and she should have been cowering.
Well, either that or running away, but, like, not playing all giddy like. Okay, so I want to understand the relationship between our 2 daddies, right? Are they just friends? Are they colleagues? Are they actually in a relationship?
It seems like they're just colleagues. Okay. They never explicitly say. Yeah, they never explicitly say if they're in a relationship. It doesn't seem like it, given that this guy was living alone until this guy showed up with the girl, essentially. It was like, I'm crashing here. You know, I'm staying here for a while.
And who is the girl? Is the girl just like, oh, you know, this is the daughter of the blonde guy?
No.
Or
no. She is some random kid whose mother sent her to this city to find her father, who is like a criminal boss, on her own. So she took like trains and she walked around. And she got through, somehow managed to make it to this building where these two were going to do a job to kill the guy, basically, essentially kill her dad. And that's where they met up. And that was the first shootout she was in. That where she was just like, she slipped out of his arms.
Should
and
make it interesting.
You think. You'd think
a mother just hold on. How old is the mother?
Doesn't. Probably in her 30s, well, late 20s or 30s. She's like a lounge. We only find out about her in the third episode, really. She's like a lounge singer who is in an abusive relationship with her boss, who is probably some sort of criminal. Yeah.
How on earth?
Yeah.
Could she possibly expect her 5-year-old child to successfully find her father?
So that's how we got to get her in the arms of the Buddy Daddies. Is because she's alone, doing this on her. Yeah.
This is weird. This is weird as hell. This is.
I had such high hopes for it because it sounded so fun, and it's just all she does is make the situations that she's in worse, and not in a really funny comedic way, just an annoying way. It's one of those situations where it's the same joke over and over again.
Okay.
That premise should have been really interesting. 2 guys sent to kill her dad when she's sent to find her dad, and end up taking care of her.
I was expecting more of a buddy cop sort of thing with hints of drama, but anyway, yeah, don't watch it. Not good.
For the effort of time, let's or for the sanctity of time.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Thaylien, what's your next one?
Going straight for the second series of The Fruit of Evolution. Before I knew it, my life had it made.
Okay.
This one, I think I'm gonna give a pass for most people. I'm gonna keep watching it just because I have a bizarre fascination with how train. You know, I would stop and watch a train wreck.
Yeah.
But the show is basically, if you watched and enjoyed the first one, first of all, have you seen a therapist? Second, you'll like this. It's further. It's more of the same. Our main protagonist was a very overweight and bullied child in his old school. And then the entire class was up and transported to another world. And
not the class we're seeing on screen right now. I'm just going to point that one out.
Yeah, not the class we're seeing on screen. So his entire class in his original world was transported to another world. We find out they were summoned by a particular kingdom to train up to be an army of heroes, basically. But the kingdom itself has plans to take over the world, not actually just like defeat the demon lord. And he was the only one that was separated. He was lost in the jungle, and he ate the fruit of evolution, which, when you eat 10 of them, turns you into the perfect specimen that you could be. So he was fat and unattractive and smelled weird and horrible. Now he's much taller, much more attractive, and has the abilities of God knows. We still haven't seen the limit of what he can do.
The abilities of a protagonist.
Yeah, the abilities of a main protagonist. You know, like two-sword style. I'm not even kidding. Two-sword style. But he meets a gorilla called Saria, who has also been eating the fruits of evolution, and she falls in love with him.
Who's not the girl on the screen right now?
It's actually strangely odd because he also falls in love with her right before she eats like the 10th fruit of evolution and turns into a girl. So he was right up and ready to date that gorilla before she turned into a cute girl.
I mean, I guess they're both primates.
Anyway,
sure, why not?
So over the first series, they pick up more pack characters, make their time impressive in the first town they're going to. You know, make friends with the king and the Adventurers Guild, and save the town from a massive invasion of monsters. So he becomes noticed as a hero. And in this season, he's been invited to become a teacher at the magic school. Now, what he doesn't know, and what the audience does know, is that that's where all his classmates are. They're learning to be heroes at the magic school. and he's been asked to be a teacher. But he still hasn't reunited with any one of them. All of the characters have been given roles in the school, so the older adventurer girl that joins up with them, she's a teacher as well, for, I think it's a physical education course, Adventurers Combat or something like that. And he's been put in charge of Class F. It only has 4 students, plus Saria, with her weird gorilla abilities. And they're supposedly unique, but we still haven't found that out by the 3rd episode. All we found is that all 4 of them are complete misfits, and he has to teach them with the help of his found family, as it were. It's all still, after 3 episodes, set up for how the rest of the series is going to go. We've had hints that he'll meet some kind of evil guy and have to fight him, and that he'll die in the attempt. It's like, we don't know. It's just the opening of the 1st episode shows that.
Sorry,
okay.
So my first
it's all
question,
set up still.
My question. So first question is: has the animation improved? Because the animation in the 1st season was like all over the place.
It's about average.
It's the same. Okay, fine.
It's about average. It's a little bit higher quality because it's the first 3 episodes than it was, but there's still, noticeably not a lot of budget put into that.
My follow-up comment is that's really surprising that it's still 3 episodes and they're still setting up, because in the first 3 episodes, I think he got married.
Yes. He got married, he got 2-sword style, all his magical abilities, became an ideal specimen for himself, and went to the start of town.
It's kind of crazy, the fact that it's slowed right down. But okay.
Well, no, I mean it is still set up, but it's set up not for them. Is what I mean. The setup is all about the school. And it's also setting up the fact that he wasn't actually as unpopular as they made him out to be. Now I say that
some of that
because
was in his mind.
Some of it was in his mind. Some of it was real, because obviously he did end up alone at the start of the teleport, where they said, everybody, if you stick by your friends, you'll end up in the same location.
Yeah,
right.
So it's like the 2 very attractive girls from his previous class seem to be very happy, because the one of them could smell that he's about. A very nostalgic scent, she said. And she was searching for it and bumped into another girl who recognized that phrase, the nostalgic scent, and said, "Oh, he's here then? At last! I've missed him so much." And it's like, what? Why?
I mean,
I thought he was unpopular, and now we've got 2 very popular girls that are actually
maybe they've missed. There. Maybe they've missed verbally abusing him or something.
Not in the context.
There were some characters that weren't in his class, but in his year, that actually were friends with him.
That was it. Yes. So, anyway, so it is a pass for me. For me, thinking of the audience, you probably won't enjoy it.
Right. Okay. Let's move on. To go. You know what? I'm going to do BOFURI. So, season 2 of BOFURI. If you've watched season 1 of That's not
BOFURI.
That's not BOFURI. Why is BOFURI not up? That should be BOFURI. Why isn't that BOFURI?
That's that other show, isn't it?
Huh? That what?
I don't know what that show is.
No, it's cycling through the shows. Pause it real quick. Quick.
Oh my god.
Right, okay, I found the problem. So BOFURI, if you've seen season 1, you know what this is. If you haven't seen season 1, the title of the show pretty much explains the whole thing. I don't want to get hurt, so I maxed out my defense stats. Well, we've kind of basically got a fun, friendly Sword Art Online situation where everyone's playing this VR MMO where everyone puts on a headset and waving their hands around and actually playing an MMORPG, which is fun. Our main character, Maple, who basically doesn't know how to play MMORPGs whatsoever, creates the most broken character in the world by putting all her stats in defense. As a result...
Yeah, she is, isn't she cute?
Yep. As a result, she's basically unkillable. The first season is really, really fun. I don't want to spend too long on this, but I will totally say that the first season is an acquired taste, right? So if you like this sort of stuff, if you've seen the first season, you're definitely going to enjoy this.
So this is also an acquired taste, you'd say?
Oh yeah. No, this is
okay.
Yeah, this second season is acquired taste. So
okay,
I would say
you said first season. I was like, what?
Sorry. Yeah, so it's definitely an acquired taste this season.
Right.
And if you haven't seen the first season, you should just basically go for it. You should just go back and check it out. It's got a proper English dub and everything in case you want to watch it on the side while you're doing stuff. It's fun. It's stupid.
Definitely love it for the. I definitely love it for the bits where it is in fact just an MMORPG. So you get these little nods from the moderators that say, "Oh shit, we didn't anticipate anybody putting all of their stats into defense," and so they come out with a whole new damage type that can pierce max defenses by a certain amount, just so that people can actually stand a chance of killing her. There's a message board that's devoted to Maple as fans of Maple because I think she got a high ranking in the very first PvP tournament that she went to.
Third.
Yeah, she got third. Just by doing practically nothing and then doing a massive player wipe with the toxin attack she got just for being the first to beat one of the dungeons.
The series is certainly fun.
Message board is fantastic.
The series is certainly fun. The problem with the series, though, which I don't like, because MMOs don't do this. I've never known an MMO to do this. When you kill a boss or you do certain things, you gain abilities. As in, like, oh, now you can actually turn your turtle into a giant flying turtle. So, wait, why? Or
no, it's the giant turtle. She turned it into a giant turtle because she has the turtle. That's the bonus she got. But the flying is the fact that it can use anti-gravity magic.
Yeah, no, but the whole point is that she keeps on incurring all these skills and things. Like, she gets a literal mech. That's the whole reason why I watched this series. Is because, hold on, this is a fantasy series. Why has she got, like, a basic battle suit on her?
I know. But, I do like the idea of it, though. I mean, when you play normal MMOs, you get gear at the end of a boss run. In this, no, you actually get abilities. So, killing a boss... there was a thing about that. She actually... Because she had such high defenses, the only way she could kill one of the bosses was she got swallowed by it and ate her way out of it.
Oh my god!
Which boss was that?
That was the toxin one, wasn't it? She
No. Her gear broke, and the only way she could do damage to it was to eat it.
Yeah, that was it. So she could only eat
inside,
it. She ate this boss. So by eating the boss instead of just killing it, she gained a very, very powerful ability from it. Because it's one of those, I can 100% see one of these indie devs doing something like that where they put in little secret things for people that do something in a way that you wouldn't anticipate. You know,
right?
That's amazing.
And I think one of the favorite ones was that she's the first to complete one of the side quests that is supposed to be one of those ones that you pick up that everybody should pick up, right? She helps a woman that needs to go home, and it turns out her home is full of zombies, and then she brings her back.
Tell you what, everyone, if you like dumb fun, not Konosuba dumb, just good fun, right? Go watch BOFURI. It is a good series, and it's got a
fun series.
Right, now
we're doing that long.
Beasts of Ars, giant breasts of Ars. There's a part of me that wants to give this a nothing special, but if it would stop flashing like that would be great.
It's fine, just leave it. He'll do it. He'll fix it.
You say that. Anyway, I'm going to give it an acquired taste because there are a few interesting ideas in there. But like, oh man, I just it ends up being too much like isekai without the isekai, right? it plays a lot like a video game. A lot of the world rules would be just at home in a video game, but make a little less sense when you take it as a world without the game systems involved. The animation quality it's okay. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's okay. Xeno likes the animation more than I do.
I think it's one of the better shows this season for animation.
Yeah,
some of the shows that we've been watching are just ass.
That is true. It doesn't make me hate to look at it. Yeah. I swear the entire show takes place in a flashback, but then we also get a flashback in episode 2. I thought for a minute we might get a flashback in a flashback.
That's like 4 wall breaks.
Yeah. So episode 1 is like a breakneck speed. They're really like, oh man, we gotta pack all this information in for people to get used to the setting, and then by episode 3, it slows down to a complete like super crawl. Like they are stuck. They're trying to go on this journey, and they're stuck in this one village. And
may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel that the best way to describe this is in the first 2 episodes, there's a lot of world building, like a lot of world building. You know, so you're getting to both experience the plot of what's going on and actually observing what's happening around, so what's happened in the past. So, for example, you come across a port town where there's a giant wall at the end of the port town that, you know, is to keep these giant kaiju out, or these beasts.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know, so you get a lot of world building. You get a lot of like, you know, who are these paladins? Who are these? I want to say clerics is the other one.
Yes. Yeah. Like there's this. So there's this world is plagued by these giant beasts, and the only people who can take them down are paladins, but they can only do it with the help of the clerics, who they absorb into them in order to channel the power of the gods. But it's weird because the beasts apparently arose because man overthrew the gods in the first place. So I'm not entirely.
Yeah, it gets kind of weird. But the problem is the 3rd episode, it just slows down.
It just stops. It just completely stops.
Doesn't really explain the world setting. Does it explain who these villagers are? Does it really go into a lot of detail? It just stops, right?
Yeah.
And like, okay, you've had enough breakneck speed. We're gonna slow it down. So I kind of agree with Nasuth. A part of me wants to say nothing special, but that is because
there are those
one character that fucking
is the cat, the chateau.
It is. But it's because they change the word usage to be puns, and I can't keep up with that. I can't read what is being said and translate to what it should be said, right? I like, instead of saying "you've got to be kidding me," it's "you've got to be kitten." Kitten me, and it's like, wait, what are they trying? It's throughout the entire dialogue of this.
And they introduced the dog one too, which is essentially just the same character, but instead of a cat on its head, it's the dog. It's what? What?
Like, I struggle with that. That's a personal problem because of my dyslexia, and like I honestly cannot be bothered anymore to keep stopping and working out what the hell they're trying to actually say instead.
Yeah, I think I've given up on this show as well, and again, like I said, maybe it would make a better video game. It doesn't seem like it's based on anything. It's like an original work, but it really feels like a video game that somebody adapted, or something that they made in the hopes to get a video game.
I'm certainly going to get to the 6th episode first, like before I give up.
Okay, all right. I may keep going. We'll see. Okay. All right,
Thaylien.
Right, keeping with the alphabetical, I'm going to go with Handyman Saitou in Another World. And this one, I'm going to give it an acquired taste.
Fair enough.
Because this is an isekai. Okay? It's a handyman who got hit by a truck and has gone to another world. And it's done in the format. Obviously, the original was one of these very short skit comics, or
I think they're called 4-panel commas or something.
Well, because if you remember, we had that one from a couple of seasons ago with the maid I hired recently is suspicious. You thought it was a 4-comma, and no, it was just short chapter comic. Chapter manga. So it gets a couple of full pages rather than 4 panels. So considering how long some of these scenes go on for, I would say it's one of those.
That's fair.
It's bite size. There's multiple little short stories in an episode, and I'm actually liking it in this format because of, obviously this particular character is just put there to tell these short stories. It doesn't have to be some grand, I'm going to take on the Demon Lord. We're just going to solve problems, episodically. And we're not going to stretch out those problems to be an entire episode for it. We're going to actually do them in bite size. And I'm liking it. I'm enjoying the characters. I like the fact that our character is just a handyman. He doesn't have magic. He's not overpowered. He's along with a warrior who's a female knight in heavy armor, and a fairy. And that, if you get a decent fairy character in there, you've always suckered me in. But she's called the miserly fairy because even among her party, she insists on payment for the healing she does. That's not, life-threatening.
There's an actual there is a good lore reason for it.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was I was going to say, because that was the thing, is that she actually has depth to that reason. She's cursed and has to give offerings of gold coins every full moon. Otherwise, she shrinks away to nothing. She's already a small fairy.
Yeah.
You've got a level 80 wizard who keeps forgetting his spells and where he is and whether he's in the party. And so our handyman comes up with a simple solution to it. He just memorizes all the spells for him, so whenever he forgets one, he can feed him the lines.
Yeah. So, what was his name?
Marlock. Saitou. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No, Saitou,
so
yes.
Saitou can't actually perform the magic himself, but at least he can actually tell the rest of the. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah.
Which is just such a simple solution for a forgetful wizard. He's a wizard's assistant in that respect.
Yeah.
I'm loving how gently it's doing it. So 3rd episode just came out today, and they did the fact that there's actually declining pay because the dungeon seems to be the labyrinth seems to be tapping out for rewards, and they go back looking for the parts to one of the monsters they defeated earlier and find something else and open up a new part of the labyrinth, so that suddenly there's business coming back in again, more adventurers coming. We have these little.
It also seems like it might be
like.
It also seems like it might be hinting towards something slight, like there may be another person from his world here as
possibly.
well.
Yeah.
But I love some of these other adventurers. For example, there's this girl. She's an elf that can't cast magic, so she uses fist and foot weapons, and she uses her elvish speed and agility to attack. And she's accompanied by a healer who's absolutely devoted to her, but seems to
a little too devoted,
little uncomfortably interested in healing wounds on this particular elf. Then there was the pair that I saw, the well-matched pair.
Oh, there's the dwarf,
big brawny guy big brawny guy, and a goth lowly, and the goth lowly has the giant axe, and he's a sport wizard, and it's it's a nice, gentle little show. It's a good little breather from when you've had something a bit too intense, or when you just want to fill some time. I'm enjoying it. I recommend it. But if you're not a big fan of Isekai in the first place, you probably won't like it.
I disagree.
No, I disagree. Yeah, I disagree.
No,
I think for one thing, he's not overpowered, which is really nice. His skills as a handyman actually have value and use, which is something you don't often see, that in Isekai, people bringing skills from their existence and actually using them. It's the characters aren't too
I just think that there are
over emotional or
I just think this is a format and a genre that people might just stay away from anyway, so that's why I haven't made it a must watch.
Must watch is a bit much, but
I feel that because, and I know we're over time, but I feel that with Handyman, Saitou, this would appeal more to people that don't like standard typical isekais. Like, if you don't like Overlord or Sword Art Online or even Rising of the Shield Hero because of the whole craziness of the fantasy element to it, Handyman Saitou is not that, right?
It's so much more down to earth.
It's quite grounded. I mean, look at him. He's there repairing a helmet. And he's not really a blacksmith, but he can repair a helmet. And
well, it's a simple hinge problem, wasn't it?
It's something that couldn't normally have been done by that party.
Yeah,
and they're grateful for it.
Yeah. And again, there's loads of stuff he can't do. Like his wire cutters broke, and he had to go to a dwarven blacksmith, and actually ask to repair it. And the dwarven blacksmith, I love the dwarven blacksmith. I love his 180 locks on his front door.
Yes,
and yes, it was brilliant. Anyway,
and I love his dilemma over whether to make a gun, whether to bring like weaponry like that into this world. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyway,
this is one I look forward to. Yeah, let's move on. Right, go on, Nasuth.
No, it's you.
Sorry, it's me.
It's you.
Sorry. Oh God, no! I did a thing. I'm gonna go for saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement.
Right.
Flat out, 100% the poo poo.
Oh.
Right.
Stinky.
So, the whole premise of this series
Look at that stamp. I love it.
It's an isekai, right? But our female protagonist, like, her only thing is she can go between worlds, right? And that's it. And like, that's like, is this even an isekai? She could go back home whenever she wants, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like it for the simple fact that it's like you have a really simple premise here and you're just not getting on with it, right? So basically, she ended up in another world by accident, and it turns out like she's able to jump between the worlds when she learns how, and she basically uses a slingshot to save a friend from the other world who she couldn't understand at the time from a pack of wolves. She was also in danger of said wolves, but she realized that, you know. But the problem is that she now has a grandiose plan to set up a shop in the other world to sell stuff from the original world. Right, so set up the shop in the alternate world to sell stuff from the our world so that she can make a crap ton of money because the stuff from our world is of much higher quality. And like this is all well and good, but can you fucking get on with it? So she spends 2 episodes going to a town to try and set up a shop, and like achieves next to nothing. She ends up, oh god, this was crazy. This was utterly crazy. She ends up doing a lot of research and hires a PMC, a private military company, to train her on how to use firearms. So she can go back to the fantasy world with a gun and basically just, you know, defend herself in case she gets attacked by bandits, right? FYI, in the fantasy world, she's driving around on a scooter because she took it with her. But then she can't leave it in the fantasy world, so she takes it back home. And, like, it's just, this power to go back and forth is just so utterly broken. I don't know why she just doesn't go to the fantasy world with a fucking gun. Oh, also, each one of the gold coins is worth 200... oh shit, what was the exchange rate? Was it 2,000 or 20,000 yen or something like this? I don't know. It was basically $200.
I mean, if it's real gold, yeah.
Yeah, each gold coin, I think, was about $200. So, like, I don't know. Get an
M4A1 from this PMC. I don't know where she got the money to get trained, by the way. Just get the M4A1 from PMC, shoot up a castle, because trust me, they're not going to be able to do shit against you, steal all their gold, and then never go back.
You're going to crash the gold market, though.
Unless you do it slowly.
She'd have to, yeah.
Yeah, claim you're making them.
Yeah. No, just like put the God, it's like just put the gold in your house. Just leave the gold in your house and just slowly leak the gold into the network, into the system, and that's it.
Yeah, fair.
You know, you don't have to do it all at once and crash the market.
Maybe she wants to retire in the other world, though.
Somebody has a stockpile of gold that must have come from somewhere.
But the stupid thing, right? So this is the stupidest thing about this, right? She has all this plan and ingenuity and everything like this. So she's going to bring this gold. The PMC is going to change it from gold into dollars. They're going to get a cut. They don't know where this gold is coming from, right? They don't apparently care. But then it's a case of, so why isn't your government, why isn't your tax system going to turn around and say like, where do you get all this gold from? I don't know how tax is worked out in Japan. If it's anything like us, it's like, in the UK, it's like, oh, income tax. Like, please explain to me how you have...
Under the table cash transactions.
Yeah. Please explain to me how you have $200 million in your bank account at the age of 16. NFTs, bruh. Right,
yeah,
okay, you gotta tax this.
I'm a VTuber.
Oh, God. Okay, please show us your equipment. Anyway, yeah, so I'm sorry, like this, I am flat out dropping this, right? I don't want to watch any more of this. I'm done, right? So
that is sad.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hikari no O, please.
Oh, crap, what does that one look like?
Oh, here. There you go.
I got it.
Okay. All right. So this one's a little. I can't fully rate it because there's only 2 episodes, but I'm tentatively giving it an acquired taste. It may end up being a must-watch. We'll have to see. But so the basic premise, because we talked about this when it was initially teased, and it was like you're in a world where humans being near fire makes them spontaneously combust. Just.
Oh, it's this one.
Yes, it's this one.
Oh, okay.
So what they do is they have these fire hunters who kill like demonic sort of just nasty beasts and harvest their blood, which they call, oh gosh, what do they call it?
Juice. Nectar.
Juice. They call it juice. No, it doesn't really matter. The point is that there's 2 types of beasts. There are the easy ones that give the normal juice, and then there are the fell beasts, which give the really good juice, which they call like ball of lightning or skyfire or that sort of thing. And that's what they use to do all their technology. Anything that would normally use regular fire, they have to use this instead. So you can't just go out and get wood and make a fire anymore. You got to actually harvest it from these horrible, terrible, nasty monsters. Anyway, basic premise is one of them is killed saving our main character, who is a little girl, and in response, she is indebted to take his dog and his weapon and his talisman back to the capital because these dogs are like really highly trained, really specialized. And they want to make sure it gets to another firekeeper or fire hunter. The animation is really weird. I don't know exactly how to describe it. It's almost like they're trying to mimic traditional paintings. The opening is definitely trying to mimic traditional paintings. I don't know if you would like it. There's not a lot of shading. It's very
like this.
So this is really weird. They make this choice a couple of times, and I don't know why. One of them it makes a little bit sense for. It's the introduction of another character. But this one, they're having a conversation. It stays on this for like 30 seconds or something. It's weird.
Really?
But really weird. But otherwise it's fine. It's a little, the character models aren't precise like they are in a lot of anime, which I'm fine with because that's a much more like traditional sort of maybe almost Disney style sort of thing.
Sure.
Gosh, what else to say about it? It's got a very the story so far seems to be a very hero's journey sort of thing. You know, she has to go on this trek, and where we are now in the second episode, she actually tried to save another girl. So so they have these train sort of things that go between, or these truck sort of things that go between the villages. That's their only lifeline to other villages because it's, you know, nasty outside. And they make a stop in the woods, and one of the girls who is traveling with them is promised as a bride to another village. She doesn't want to, so she tries to run away. And this is during the time they stopped because they need to get more ground fire, more the juice. And so she gets attacked by the beast, and our main character tries to go out there and save her. Luckily, they're both saved by the hunter that's with them. And they kick her off the train. They're like, "No, you gotta go. You gotta go." The other girl who is gonna be a bride in the next village, or in one of these villages, she can stay. You gotta go to the next village. It's a little weird, but I can see where they're setting it up for. She's gonna end up having to go on the rest of the journey on her own, and probably learn to fight these monsters with the help of the dog. It's honestly really good so far, really interesting. I just can't. One other thing about the art style is I've noticed it is a little jarring sometimes when they're in these like in the capital. They've got these very finely crafted, very machined sort of settings, and then the people have these really weird, messy outlines on them. I want to say they're trying to. It's supposed to be like some sort of symbolic thing where humans don't really belong in this setting. They belong in a more natural setting. I get the feeling that might be a message that they're pushing in the background. There's a couple of little things like that. Not the worst message to have, but you know.
No, I do like the idea of the setting. So humans have a weakness, and that would mean that they would normally not have technology, and the only way they can get the same access to things that we do, they have to go and hunt monsters.
Yeah.
See, that's actually makes sense if you suspend your disbelief on the first part. So yeah, I might give that a try as well.
I assume it's very clear that this is a post-apocalyptic world, right? There's street signs. They've talked about how war ended, so I assume it's some sort of weird biological agent. I don't know how that would work, but if it gets near fire, it explodes. So maybe, and that essentially ended the traditional warfare because everyone was fucked. Anyway.
Alrighty. So is that
me again? Yes. Sorry.
Alrighty. I'm just going to keep going. On to Ningen Fushin. Adventurers who don't believe in humanity will save the world. Now, this one, for now, just for the first 3 episodes, in acquired taste, but quite a high level.
I'm gonna wait till it actually gets on screen.
I don't know why not. Why not?
There it goes.
No,
there it goes. No? There it goes.
No.
There we
go.
There you go.
It's an acquired taste. It's a full fantasy, no isekai, and it revolves around 4 adventurers that become adventurers because each of them has been betrayed in some way. Okay, so our main character, funnily enough called Nick, he grew up in a high-ranking adventuring team, a clan or adventurers guild type, and he got kicked out of it. And the second he got kicked out, his girlfriend turned out to be only scamming him for money, and so broke up with him. So he's
wasn't there a relationship between the party leader that booted him and the girlfriend?
I believe so. It turned out that the things that he was giving her, she was giving straight back to the old party leader.
That shot is really weird.
It is.
Was like the
it's
same
a little
color
bit
as the
weird.
floor.
Well, I don't know wood. So the other 3. So on the top there, in the gigantic hat, is a noble girl that was training to be a mage, and she's very talented. She has this ability, but she's betrayed by her fiancé, who basically goes completely incel on her and just thinks that she is humiliating him just by existing, because he was supposed to go to the same academy as she was, and she did it and he didn't, and she's doing better than him, and she keeps bragging about her magic, and so he's found
it's bizarre
another girl.
Shield hero.
He's found another girl that's from a wealthy merchant's family that is willing to marry him instead, and so she's just been humiliated at her school, and her family hasn't supported her, so she's gone off to become an adventurer instead. The next is a priest who loved his job and wanted to help out the village he was in, and had a small girl as his assistant who developed a little bit of an unhealthy interest in him. And when he turned her down politely and carefully, she ran to the other priests and told them that he did. Well, she pulled a mine on him. She pulled a shield hero on him.
A bitch.
And yes, and he was excommunicated and cast out, dragged in front of the whole town.
He was in prison first.
Yeah, he was excommunicated, held in prison, dragged in front of the whole town, and kicked out, banished. And he has since found a way to the town, to the town he's in, and is getting a little bit too excommunicated, like going to certain parlors a little bit often. And our final protagonist is a dragonkin girl that she's really strong. She has fire and heavy weapons, and she joined a party that she thought she could respect the people in it, and it would help them follow their leader till the grave. And they betray her by using her as bait for a monster and leaving her poisoned on the floor while they take all the loot back to town, claim that she's dead, steal all her stuff, and leave. She has a keepsake called the Dragon Gem that's supposed to be hers for life, and they steal that from her, so she's out to get it back. Now all four of them end up in the same bar, end up drinking at the same table, which we saw earlier, and then decide, actually, wait, if all of us feel exactly the same, then if we team up, the same thing can't happen to us again because we're looking out for it. And this is the start of the journey where they start to become true adventurers and learn to actually trust somebody again, which is a nice bit of character development. The narration tells us that they're actually going at some point to defeat the Demon Lord and save the world, but that's very, very far in the future. And I do like the way that they've done this out, because every single one of them is supposed to be skeptical of the other. So they're putting in place all these rules to make sure that none of them can betray each other. But you can see from the way they're actually trying, the way they're actually putting themselves forward a bit, that they really just want to be good people and be able to trust each other again. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I'm relating to it so hard. I think, as you recall, last time I was on Kanpai Cast, I revealed how my last relationship ended. And there is a lot to relate to for me here.
Yeah.
The betrayal is I feel it's a very good portrayal of it.
It's a good series. I'm hoping that they can carry it forward, continuing to evolve it, continuing to improve upon it and things. And I hope
that see where it goes.
But there is a lot of room for falls flat, the end. But I think the third episode shows that it's not prepared to just be a tumbleweed.
Fade away into that good night.
Yeah, it's trying to do more, because they could have just spent the whole episode on the Dragonoids' backstory, but instead they actually show it improving. They show the bad and the good, how she's recovering things. Yeah. Anyway,
that's nice.
And they show the right way of recovering as well. Yeah. Where you don't need things, you need people. So.
Yeah.
yeah, let's move on.
Right. Okay. So this might not be a massively long one for me. It is. Is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? Season 4, Part 2. Right.
Moving on.
This is 100% a. God, this is. I want to say this is a must-watch, but it's one
of those where you have to have seen. It's one of those where you have to have seen the other seasons, obviously. But
yeah, but it's so worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, if you have, then it is 100%. Yeah,
you and I, you and I and Lars, we all saw the first 3 seasons and the movie. And it was it's a fantastic series. It's a brilliant fantasy series. I'm
literally just waiting on the dub.
It annoyed me to no end that season 4 has been split into 2 parts and things. And there was a season gap in between. Not the end of the world. It just came out of left field, right? And where it's continuing on, it's brilliant. The animation is still top notch. Storytelling is great. The last 3 episodes have literally just been about one story point, and that's it, which is like a little bit of a sour point, but at the same time, because of the gravitas behind this one story point, it makes sense.
Yeah. I love it because it is a simple build from virtually nothing hero story.
Yes.
I love that it's not an isekai too. It's just a fantasy.
They clearly explain the very first series why he would be special, in most people's eyes, but of course nobody knows it. And then they expand on why he becomes special because of the things he does. It's just he keeps going, he keeps trying, and he becomes more special because of what he does and how he goes about it. And doesn't really change him as a person, but changes him as a character.
Yeah,
which is brilliant.
I don't really want to spend any more time on this. If you've watched Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, you should be watching this. If you haven't watched it, go start from the beginning. It's a brilliant fantasy series. It's one of the better ones.
It really is.
If the fact that it has 4 seasons doesn't convince you to watch it, nothing will convince you to watch it.
And the movie.
And a movie. The movie's not canon. The movie is just sort of like one of those side plots, which is a little annoying, but...
also, I am Ganesh.
I'm Ganesh.
Yeah. Ganesh!
Are you?
Right, so, Nasuth, your next one.
Junji Ito! Oh, Junji Ito. Oh, I didn't pick any too terrible images, I don't think.
Thank you.
So, although that bus... Oh, the ice cream
Japanese
bus.
Tales of the Macabre.
Oh. So, I would love to give this a must-watch, but it must be an acquired taste, because you have to be able to like horror. I don't think Xeno could watch this one. But anyway, it is really good. I didn't watch all of it. There are all 12 episodes out. I didn't get through all of it. I made it through like 6 of them before I was like, okay, I gotta pass out now. But it's an anthology series, kind of like, your Outer Limits or your Twilight Zone, or, that sort of thing. The animation styles change depending on the stories, but they are all consistently good. I'm really sad that some of my favorite stories did not make it in. We don't have Amigara Fault. We don't have Glycerine. We don't have Spiral. None of those made it in. But the ones that did make it in are pretty good. Some of them are half an hour. Some of them are only half of an episode. And weirdly, some of them are also letterbox, or not letterbox, but 4x3. Which I don't mind. I don't mind, but it's really weird. It's like, okay, but the last episode was... Wait, what? They do... The stories are... I mean, I wouldn't say that Junji Ito is particularly horror in the traditional sense. It's more that his stuff is eerie. It's unsettling. It's
gross.
Well, yeah, sometimes, yeah.
The internet has ruined me for that particular image.
This one? Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm sorry. It's ruined me, the internet.
But they do have Tomi in here, which is one of the good ones. About a girl who, like, it's really weird. She thinks her head is ugly, and at one point she gets her friends to chop. She can convince people to do just about anything. And so she ends, because she is convinced that her own head is ugly. She convinces her friends to chop it off, thinking that they're chopping off a growth, and then she grows a new head. So, you know, weird stuff. There's an episode where people's heads start, like, giant versions of their heads start floating around like balloons, and if you go outside, they will try to get you and hang you and, like, you know, kill you, and then they just float around talking. It's really weird stuff. Really, really weird, unsettling stuff, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely. That's really all I have to say. Unless anyone has any questions.
No. I'm
not sure. I actually want to know more.
You do?
I'm not sure.
Considering I have seen some of the comics done, or the manga done by Junji Ito, no, I'm good to be firmly ignorant. I am, you know, if you like the weird, fucked up stuff, fine, right? There are some people that, oh god, some people, I don't understand this.
Oh, this is the one with the heads.
Oh, yeah, look at it.
See all the giant heads? Yeah.
Right. There's some content creators that are out there on platforms like TikTok that do weird stuff like, oh shit, what's it called, Nasuth?
Oh, we have to show that. I think
No. Huh? Are we allowed to show this?
Screenshot. Because I believe there's literally hanging
bodies.
bodies.
Oh, you can actually see body.
Shit.
Oh, anything about that?
There we go.
It's probably okay. It's probably
anyway.
Right. You can barely see them.
Anyway, but the big there's this thing on Twitter or TikTok or whatever, TikTok, which is like people with you know, blackheads or whatever that end up sort of like extracting them and things like this, and they record it, and it's I can't stand it. It makes my stomach churn, honestly. And like, I've had friends like link me this sort of stuff, and I'm just like, please do not link me this ever again. It really unsettles me, right? This is basically Junji Ito in a nutshell. Don't, seriously, please don't. Right, I will block you if you do. Right, but yeah. So like,
I understand that. I do understand that.
You know? So if there's anything,
but some of it is. Some of it definitely is.
If there's anything that like is on that vein that could unsettle you, maybe keep it away.
Yeah, like I said, some of this stuff I think would be watchable, but for you, Xeno, specifically. But some of it, you definitely, I can't tell you which ones specifically to watch and which ones to not watch. So, you know. Anyway, yeah. If you like unsettling stuff, go watch it. Anyway. I believe Thaylien's going to probably do Misfit, right?
Yes, the Misfit of Demon King Academy, Season 2. And this one, it actually has evolved to me to be a bit of an acquired taste.
All right.
Yeah, mostly because
did you not like the main
character? Season? Well, I thought the first season was a nothing special, really. Because it just seemed to be, you know, of its type. But as it's gone on, the main character has started to be such a bloody mad lad, right? Okay, with everything he's doing. So they've just fully bore down on this idea that he is the ultimate, like, the Chad magic caster, the guy that has the answers. And even when he doesn't, he can figure them out fast. The basic premise is he was the Demon King and he defeated the gods and was unable to unite the world. So 2,000 years before the story, he sacrificed himself to trigger a magic spell that would separate all the different kingdoms of the world. The kingdom of men, fairies, gods, demons, all of it.
Wasn't it?
They would.
Wasn't it?
If they would separate them for 1,000 years.
Didn't the legendary hero also do it?
Yes. So
both
he.
sacrificed.
Well, the legendary hero had to help him. So the
so
hero,
something they both wanted to do.
He convinced the legendary hero to actually kill him as the sacrifice to cause this, and then because he's the Demon King, of course, he's going to reincarnate, and he does so 2,000 years later, 1,000 years after the walls between the kingdoms have come down. And
this is a case where being a demon isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's just another race, another species.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So, and he reincarnates, and the first series is a little bit, like, what the fuck are they planning here? Because, he grows up and joins the demon high school at age 4. I think it is.
No,
it's
1
only
month.
4 years.
1 month.
One month. And he's already
goddamn name. It's so
he's using his own name.
It's amazing.
And he finds out that he's so when he joins the upper tier of the school, you have to know the name of the Demon King, and so he confidently gives his own name, and it turns out that he's wrong, and so it uncovers this whole plot that there's been for thousands of years now to basically replace him as Demon King in mythology. And we don't know what the plot about, what that's all about, but somebody else has they've replaced him with Avos Still Heavier instead of Anos Voldigold, and somebody was pretending to be Avos Still Heavier, and he has to prove that no, Anos Voldigold is actually the Demon King and has reincarnated. So the first series is all about this plot of his old second in command pretending to be the Demon King and trying to take over the world, and the hero, the legendary hero, has reincarnated and becomes Anos's new best friend.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. So
this actually doesn't sound that bad.
No,
I'm kind of interested.
But everything he does is always about the fact that he is this Giga Chad of a caster. So he sees these two, the girls here, they're twins, but the white-haired one wasn't supposed to be born a twin. It was actually very confusing. But he's able to magically bond the two temporarily to become this massively powerful magical entity. It's remarkably impressive when he does it in combat. He's basically just better than everyone and knows it. In this very first episode, I think his assistant is held hostage, stabbed through the heart, and then locked in time so that he can't die just yet. And the person tries to put him through a contest of wits. So, like it says, you may ask 18 questions, and if you get the answer right out of me from this guessing game, my magic will be locked for 5 seconds. But if you guess wrong or you lose your questions, your magic will be locked for 5 seconds, and of course we'll be able to kill you. And he says, "Screw it, I'm only going to use 9 questions." And goes through this thing, gets all the answers all his questions, and then in the end, he's down to 1 question and says, "You know what? Screw it, I'll make my own rules," and changes the rules on him, teleports the hostage out, and replaces it with a body double instantly before his magic is taken away. And then when the people try to kill him with his magic gone, he bodies them physically because he's actually the Demon King and his physical powers are just as good.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
So it's all about the flex. If you like it when anime characters flex on things.
Is this also the one where he kills a guy with just his heartbeat?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It gets to like episode 3 came out, and he's rescuing a girl from being harassed in an alleyway. And when they say, "Oh yeah, okay, just beat him up, guys, teach him a lesson," and he goes, "Huh," and knocks them all back against the wall. And says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to blast you away with my laugh. Best not do anything funny."
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's kind of weird though, because like we kind of criticize a lot of series that have an overpowered main protagonist.
It's how you
That's
handle it,
because-
though.
That's because they're not built for
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's well, basically, you kind of set the tone when you are literally following the Demon King, right? When it's just some random no-name, boob that comes from our world, it's like no one cares, right? But when it's the literal Demon King who's beating people up, like again in the first episode of this season, one of my favorite things was that one of the, I don't know if it was a general, I think it was a general of the Demon King turns up. Everyone respects him, and basically he points out like, no, Anos Voldigold, right, is the Demon King, right? Not what's the
Avos still heavier.
yeah, not Avos still heavier. In
Avos
fact,
took head.
and then right. In fact, what the general does is he basically snaps his fingers, and everyone's seats just disappear. Like, you should be standing or kneeling in the presence of the Demon King.
Yeah, it really is all about presentation. I mean, the same thing.
Yeah,
the same thing with even though in the end I kind of thought it was a little bit mid. I'm quitting heroing. Right, the presentation in that where he was stupid overpowered, but like it was yeah.
Yeah, in this world though, they actually have got kind of threats that should be difficult. They would be difficult for anybody else, but that's the point. Is that in this world he is the Demon King. He's overpowered, and they've built these things to try and challenge him, and he doesn't let them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Let's move on. We're way over. Right. It's me now, isn't it?
It is you.
Talking about fun things, I'm gonna do. Oh crap!
Spy Classroom.
Reborn to master the blade, from hero king to extraordinary squire. It saddens me that this has only got 2 episodes, right? God. Okay, so this is definitely an acquired taste, right? So you can hit the button. Yep. But I want to give this a must-watch so damn hard. It is so much fun. So basically, we have this legendary king who has ruled for his not his entire life. He built the kingdom, and he looked after his people, so on and so on. And the goddess turns up and basically says, like, what can I do for you? And he goes, I want to reincarnate, but I don't want to rule the country. I don't want to rule the kingdom. I want to go out on adventures. I was tied down by my responsibilities. I want to reincarnate as someone that can go out on adventures, right? Now,
isn't that like that other one we had last season? But that one had a really, really whiny version of it. I was so lonely. That last season, was it last season or the season before? Demon King lost the only friend he had, and so reincarnated.
Typical nobody.
Typical nobody, and it wasn't a typical nobody. Yeah, no.
Lars was the one that watched that one, so I can't really comment on it.
So very similar, but that one was more whiny. This one seems like, I just want to go out on an adventure.
So this is great because basically, I think it's been hundreds of years, and no one remembers him at all, and effectively the world's changed massively. He still has the mind of the old man. He still has the ability to like master weapons-based combat and things like he did before, but he does not have magic, right? So pretty much everyone has magic apart from him. What he has is something else, which allows him to manipulate. God, Loz is going to kill me for this. I think he can manipulate the aether around him to effectively turn it into mana within her own body, right?
So wait, what's the difference between?
He is now a she.
Yes, right.
Hey.
What's the difference between an aether and mana?
So aether is basically something that exists within the environment, right?
Right.
So
okay.
it's but mana comes from you personally, right? You have your own personal mana. So she has no mana, right, at all.
Okay.
If I'm correct, I could be wrong. Loz would
Gotcha.
have to. So basically, she can manipulate the ether around her to basically enhance her combat ability. She's already a Chad when it comes to like sword-based combat.
Is this like the aura I mentioned earlier for that other one? So you can enhance your physical abilities. Oh, from Chillin in the 30s when I was talking about that.
No, because that comes from him, right?
Oh, good point.
Yeah, the mana is like that, but the Aether is just basically like, well, I'm taking all of the electricity in the air and I'm turning it into mana, right? That's like
well, it's a physical power.
Yeah, exactly, right? So she can
people used to think that light traveled through the aether, and so it's that, you know, it's just this field that surrounds you, and she can for some reason harness it where nobody else can.
Well, no one knows about it, right?
So they've all got their internal natural. Yeah.
So basically, she could. So everyone's got a crest on their hand, which you're seeing right now. So she could have channeled the Aether into mana and given herself effectively a top tier crest, but she didn't want to because she didn't want to be tied down by nobility. She wanted to go out and just do her own shit, right? So she's like, no, I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna cut it off entirely. So she has no crest, and it's brilliant. She's like, whenever there's any possibility whenever there's any possibility for a fight, right? She will wrangle it. She will antagonize the fuck out of people. I bet you couldn't beat just a little old girl like me and then just completely kick their ass, right? It's so in the first episode we see her at basically, you know, just born and 5 years old. In episode 2 we see her, I think, at 6 when she gets her crest, or doesn't, and 12. So this is her. I love this, right? So this is in the first episode. She is fighting some dickhead who's using magic to paralyze or slow his opponents, but it only works if they are looking at him. So she's doing the whole fight with her eyes closed and kicking his ass. It's brilliant. I love it.
Because you can probably feel him moving through the aether. Would you say this is sort of a Mushoku Tensei? Not in terms of okay, all right, not that good.
It's not that good, but it's still wicked fun. It is still hilarious. She kills a dragon with basically a stare off. Reborn to master the blade. Yeah, it's so good. So that's all I'm gonna say. If I could give it a must watch, I totally would. But you know,
there's too much good anime this season.
I'm sorry. I just watched Nasuth type Reborn to master the bald. In which case,
yes.
Anyway, let's move on. Nasuth.
All right. It's Nasuth's turn.
Kaina of the Great Snow Sea. I'm also going alphabetical because it just kind of works.
Here's me, not. Yeah.
I thought about watching this one. What's it like? Tell us.
So currently there are only 2 episodes. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it an acquired taste.
Really?
Yeah, it could move down. It could move up. Honestly, what do you think it's nothing special?
No, I've not seen it. Like the animation alone kind of put me off.
Actually the CG is not too bad. The shadows do occasionally bug me, and there's one scene in episode 2 where the girl we meet is falling and like her movements are a little funky. But honestly, in general, the CG is really not bad. The movements are pretty good. There was one bit where so essentially the world is separated. There's the above the canopy where these people live, and the snow sea below. We don't know what caused it. We do know it is some kind of post-apocalyptic event. Because there's one of the people that live in the village is called the Sign Reader, and his whole job is to remake old street signs that people have found and brought up and whatnot, and recite the words, even though he doesn't know what they mean. It's like a religion. It's like becoming a religious thing. It's really weird. Anyway, clearly there was some kind of event that made these people create these giant world trees that created a canopy over the entire world, and below them is the snow sea. We don't know what happened. I'm hoping that they do explain that. If they don't, I'm going to be very angry. The snow sea is also starting to rise, and at the same time, the water that's provided by the trees is drying out. The girl that we meet comes from below. She comes from the snow sea, and she believes that the only way to save her people, who are gathered around the base of the tree, are to go up and find the sage. And so she does this. She gets gets what's essentially a hot air balloon and floats up there. Now, she's lucky enough to get through one of the holes in the canopy, which are rare, not supposed to happen, although they're slowly getting more frequent, and is rescued by our main character, which is really lucky, because above the canopy is space. So she can't breathe. Luckily he's there, he rescues her, he has a rebreather, brings her back. Her outfit is a little weird sometimes. It kind of stretches in odd ways when she moves around. That is one animation issue I will give you. But there's also a lot of really good stuff here. There's a whole hero's journey going on where Kaina, our main character, he lives in the canopy with these 5 old people, and they're the last people they know that live on the canopy. Nobody else lives up there. All the other trees that they know of have withered away or whatever. There's no other villages. And they're the last people there, so when the old people die, Kaina would be left alone. But behold, here comes this girl who wants to save her people, and she begins by putting him on the hero's journey as well.
Look at that.
That's so this is the canopy, yeah.
Nice.
And so she comes up seeking the sage, part of the hero's journey, but she also sets him on his journey to help her to go down to the surface and save the world. Unfortunately, again, like I said, there's only two episodes. The world building feels pretty good. They sort of dribble in the lore at a natural pace without overwhelming you. I'm really interested to see a third episode. I do understand if the CG turns people off. That's 100% totally understandable. But as a story, I honestly think it's pretty good. Did you say anything? You have any questions?
No, I think I'm gonna have to wait for you to get to like the halfway point and say whether or not it's worth picking up.
Same.
Fair.
I get where you're coming from. It's such a unique premise.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
I love me a good post-apocalyptic setting too. You know.
Well, I kind of want to understand the logic behind why put a canopy around Earth. But I mean, regardless of that, like it sounds like a very
reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds
and
like
it's somehow
very
connected to the snow
setting.
sea, you know. Anyway,
of course,
Yeah.
but
The fact that it's giant trees, that employs a like a biosphere kind of thing.
Yep.
I like that.
Right. So, should we move on to Thaylien's next one?
Indeed.
My next one is Tomo-chan is a girl.
What? Is she?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
apparently
okay.
so.
Yep.
Now, this one I'm going to put an acquired taste on, but depending on how this goes, it could upgrade to a must-watch, because this is like one of the best examples of a classic Japanese anime rom-com that I've ever seen. Okay, there's so many out there into this genre of romantic comedy drama type things, and this one just does the elements it does really well. The basic premise is that. Yeah, she's got a fang. That fang. Now, Tomo-chan is in fact, our red-haired protagonist, and she's been a tomboy all her life. She's grown up with her father teaching her karate, and as the episodes have rolled out, we've seen little flashbacks to how she used to be very boyish as a younger child, and encourage her best friend to climb cliffs with her and jump off into rivers, do all of these silly, aggressive things that little girls didn't do. Her best friend is Misuzu here, the one that's pushing away the blonde, and they couldn't be more opposite. Misuzu's girly but very, very quiet, dark, has the drive to ruin people socially, and is very clued into what's around her. And Carol there is a English exchange student who is the perfect bimbo. Right? she's like this one. She's aware enough of what she's doing and has the right kind of smarts, but she acts very doll-like and very wooden at times. So people would take her to be a lot more stupid than she is. But she's actually like this perfect blend of.
So she presents as a brainless blonde bimbo, but in fact,
she gets on really well with Misuzu here because she actually has some perceptiveness there. It's kind of fun. So at the start of the series, we see that Tomo actually tries to ask her best friend Jun out. There's Junichi there, and she actually, I really like you. Please go out with me. And he says, I can't believe you waited all this time to tell me. I love you too, best buddy. So he's only seeing her as his best friend. But there's all these overtones, undertones to everything going through it, where when somebody brings up the idea of her getting a boyfriend, he puts on a very, very dense face and kind of discards that immediately.
But you don't know whether that's because he loves her or because he wants to be
he doesn't like her. Or maybe he just doesn't like the manipulation.
Yeah.
Right. But there is, things where he does actually recognize that she's a girl. So, for example, he is glad that there's some things are co-ed because otherwise he wouldn't be able to do them with her. And he protects her on the bus when a guy turns up and starts touching her inappropriately, and suggests that maybe she shouldn't be wearing skirts. Maybe she should wear the slacks that the uniform allows. But then there's a big misunderstanding because she thinks it's because he thinks that she's guy properly, but he's just saying maybe that wouldn't let her be touched inappropriately.
The
fun is that she's trying very hard to be, date him, but gets embarrassed easily, whereas he's completely clueless, and her friends are trying, and it's a very simple kind of rom-com, but it's played so well. It's just done straight out as this comedy situation with the romance built in, and it works really, really well in my eyes.
I honestly disagree. For me, this is a pass. This is what I'm dropping.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not even a nothing special.
No, I'm just dropping this because, in all honesty, the jokes, you get the whole setup of the entire series from episode 1, and it kind of feels like I don't think any of the series is going to improve anything. It's like, he is pretending she's a guy. He knows full well, she is a girl. He doesn't want to endanger the friendship. She, is she's. They're all basically stuck in a rut.
Yes.
And I can't see this progressing at all because this feels like this is the whole dynamic of the series. They are stuck in a rut and they're awkwardly dancing around each other. Like the whole there's a situation in the second episode where the blonde feels threatened by Tomo because her fiance is also in the same school. The blonde's fiance, sorry.
Because the blonde's fiance is getting on well with Tomo and seems to like her. But...
And so the blonde's like, I'm gonna move in on Jun. I'm gonna move on.
No, that's the fun thing is that she didn't. She went to Misuzu, her best friend, Tomo's best friend, to ask. Who said, "Do you know what? Hang out with Junichi, and you'll find out."
Let's find out. Yeah, and as soon as she realized, oh no, Tomo's got the hots for Jun, that was it. And
it was that thing of she was properly. It was this little manipulative thing, but then Carol caught on and realized what Misuzu had done and wanted to become friends with them after that. So it's there is room for change. There is room for this to actually go somewhere.
I just don't think it will. I really don't think it will.
Right.
And like, considering I've got so many other things to watch, I think this is one of the ones I'm going to drop.
Still, I think I'm going to stick with this, and hopefully I can.
There you go.
See, look at that. That scene says everything right there.
Would you say that it's very like real to life in the way that these people are stuck in their ruts?
No.
Okay.
No. I'd say that this is a like projecting it to the edge case degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something that a few people can probably relate to, but no, it's projecting it right to the comedy side of things.
Gotcha.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. What is my next one? I'm gonna.
You've only got a few left.
Oh no. I'm gonna do campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. Now, I know Loz likes this one a lot.
So Loz would give it a must-watch.
I potentially, like, if anything, I think Loz would give this a high acquired taste.
Okay.
I am, because there's only 2 episodes, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving this a low acquired taste, but the 3rd episode could make or break it. Right? So, it is the standard typical, guy gets isekai'd, his power, get this, is online shopping, right? He can buy stuff from Amazon, effectively, using the currency of this one. So he can buy, like, all the ingredients. Like, he buys a portable gas stove, right? So he can actually cook things, as opposed to buy a magic circle that does this, like a magic circle tablet that does the same job for, like, an insane price. And there's very much the same sort of economy setting that saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement has, but this guy is stuck here, right? So that's a certain positive right there. He's not jumping between. This is also done by Mappa, so the animation quality is solid throughout, right? He goes, and basically he wants to separate himself. So he gets summoned with a bunch of other people from our world. They get really good skills. He gets online shopping, right? He then wants to separate himself from the whole situation, so he says, like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm useless in this situation. My ability gives you nothing, no advantage whatsoever. And basically the king...
Wait, does he know you can order guns online?
Probably not in Japan.
Maybe he's not American.
Oh, well, it just says online shopping, not online Japanese shopping.
It's Amazon. It is basically Amazon, right? Anyway, so he basically goes, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, please excuse me, I'm not gonna be of any use to you. And he basically tries as quickly as possible to leave the country, because he thinks that the king has summoned these people to fight a war for him, and he doesn't want to get wrapped up in it, right? So he goes, and basically, as soon as he gets to the border closes down. So, like, all normal forms of transportation are prevented. So, like, you know, basically stagecoaches and what have you. So he has to hire an adventuring squad to basically take him through the forests, through the mountains, to get to the neighboring country. And they take him on and everything, you know. But as he's doing it, he basically ends up cooking all the food for them. So it's just not like, oh, here's some beef jerky or whatever the entire trip. And they love him for it. And he ends up attracting the attention of a god-level spirit animal. And this spirit animal is basically known for destroying villages and towns and all sorts of shit like this. And basically, he ends up cooking so much good food for the spirit animal. The spirit animal goes, right, I will become your familiar.
Oh my
god. Make a contract with me. Yes. So, and basically, there it is there. And this is basically where our main protagonist, Kun, is deciding, hey, let's go to
wait. Does this wolf at any point transform into a human-esque shape?
Nope.
Okay, thank goodness.
That's what those eyes.
That's
worried.
That's one of the redeeming qualities. This
Okay.
wolf is full wolf the entire time. How dare you not respect its majesty? And
I'm glad.
You should be kissing at its where its feet were in its magnificent presence. Anyway, so basically, our main protagonist in the middle.
Just going to put a little post-it on that one saying, okay, when we come back, if it hasn't transformed into an attractive person, then yeah, I will respect that.
Right. So the where was I going with this main protagonist? But he wants to set up a shop as a merchant from the merchant. Yeah. That's what it's bringing it down for me. So he's wanting to set up a merchant shop, possibly a restaurant, and he wants to also be an adventurer so that he can go and find the ingredients, because the wolf eats so damn much he couldn't possibly buy any.
No.
Right? So the wolf ends up having to go and actually do the hunting and everything for our protagonist, and you can only do that if he's an adventurer. So this is why it's on sketchy thin ice. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, giving it a acquired taste. It could go wrong. I'm hoping the fact that map is taken on basically means that the manga's really well received.
But didn't they also do Overlord? No, it's Madhouse. That's Madhouse, isn't it?
No, that is no. No, it is. No, yeah, I think it is Madhouse, because that's why my argument of why hasn't fucking Madhouse taken on season 2 of No Game No Life, considering they've done fucking 4 seasons of fucking Overlord.
You're probably right.
Let's have a quick look.
Does it say?
Probably will on the left. Madhouse. There you go.
I guess Madhouse. Okay. Right. Okay. So I have no arguments with Mappa.
Okay. Right.
As far as I remember, anyway.
Mappa did Chainsaw Man, and I feel that it's a bit of a sketch adaptation. But anyway, right. Regardless of that, that's why acquired taste. Moving on.
All right. So, for me, it's going to be Mononogatari. Monono.
You already did that. No, you didn't. Sorry, yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I did. Yeah. Kaina.
No.
Yeah.
Kaina. No. I'm gonna. Again, this is another one that only has 2 episodes, unfortunately. Gonna tentatively give it an acquired taste. This one's. Part of me feels like I should hate this, because all the characters are okay. So it's a shonen, but it's one of those where all the characters are very, very, very pretty, very pretty. Even the grandfather, incredibly pretty. It's demon hunting, but the demons are like. It's not like Jujutsu Kaisen. It's the demons are spirits that possess objects, and they're the more traditional. I can't remember what they're called, Tsukugomi or something like that. They're very traditional spirits that inhabit objects for whatever reason, and sometimes they don't even mean to come to this world. They just show up here, and then they're very confused. And some of them get violent. But in any case, there's a group of people that are out there to take care of them, to help them, to either help them pass back over to the other side, or, as we learned in episode 2, actually help them transition into a life here in our world. If they're decent and not murderous and what have you. So it's sort of like Supernatural, which I've never actually watched, so I assume it's like Supernatural, or Poltergeist Legacy, or if you've seen Lock and Key, that sort of thing, where it's a family that is helping them to do this, because it is the family that has this power. But, like, it's weird. Hyoma's weapons are really, really... I feel like they wouldn't actually work in a battle. They're these weird circles that have... He holds them in weird ways, and he can use them to deflect blades, but it's like, you're gonna get your fingers cut off It's not like a traditional what is it called, chakram? It's not like a traditional chakram.
Not okay.
No, I don't know if I have any screenshots of it in this. I think I do, hopefully. But then it kind of feels like at the end of episode 1, it switches into a weird bait and switch for a slice of life, because his brother and sister were killed by these Tsukugami and Tsukumogami. That's it, Tsukumogami. And so he has a big grudge against them. He thinks all of them need to be forcibly sent back. And so his grandfather, knowing that he's going to be the next head of the family, sends him to this household where a girl... Oh, I didn't start the timer. I am terrible. Girl is living with five Tsukugami. Tsukugami. These demons. Yeah. And they're helping her. They're doing the same thing that he is doing. That his family is doing. They're sending spirits back to the other world, or helping them integrate into our world if they're good and decent. And so he's sent here to live with them and the girl and understand what makes them different from the one that killed his family. And so it's interesting. It's really got me invested, because it's not just your traditional sort of demon anime, but also I'm a little worried that it's just going to devolve into his antics with the family, or with these new spirits that they help integrate into society, and less about what's like some greater narrative. I don't know. Yeah, it's all right. It's pretty good. I'd say. Do you have any questions?
No, I like the idea that this could actually could actually be more than just demon killing. So
yeah. No, see, in the second episode, there was a demon that was inhabiting a mill wheel, and the reason she didn't understand quite why, but she felt a calmness, a peace in this world, and it's because the millstone she was inhabiting was well loved and well used and very long used, and so the person that used it poured a lot of love into it, and so she has that same sort of love for the world. But she's also a little paranoid, because he used it alone, and so when she finds out that they're part of this group that often sends demons back, she goes a little crazy. Which is a good moment for our main character to grow, because he's been given this ultimatum: either do this or you leave, you're out. And so he stops just short when he sees her actually crying over how much she wants to stay. He stops. So it really does have some good points, some growth potential in there.
Oh, fair enough. But since you didn't start the timer.
Yeah, good enough. Good enough.
I'm actually going to skip one for mine. I'm going to go straight to The Legend of Vox Machina.
Oh, you're saving best for last, are we?
Yes.
Best. Okay.
Most discussable, shall we say? Legend of Vox Machina is season 2 of the show, and it starts off exactly where the last series left off. That first season was them coming together as a group properly and becoming heroes by killing a dragon. Unfortunately, it seems to have triggered some revenge plot by a conclave of 4 other ancient, gigantic, and powerful dragons. One of fire, one of ice, one of poison, and one of acid. So they're a Chroma Council of dragons. And they come in.
Is that how season 1 ended?
Yeah, they would. You saw them flying in from the sunset as Vox Machina were being presented with the thing of the leader of their city was stepping down to leave it in favor of a more democratic council, and Vox Machina had been recognized for their bravery and given a house. So and
then they
the
come
camera
in and
panned
just
out to show these dragons flying in from the sunset. So the are we?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
So the picking up of this of the dragons invading and completely destroying this city, chasing everyone out. There's nothing anyone could do. They are too powerful, and it's an epic moment. It is an awe-inspiring moment to start your series off with. This grand scale destruction.
How would you rate the first season?
Have I not rated it? Okay, so the
first how would you rate the first season? Yeah.
First season, I would have rated it as a must-watch because it was really well done, and so this is going to continue that. Even if you don't know anything about D&D or the Critical Role people that this comes from, it's genuinely something that I think people should watch as a great example of how Western anime can actually be, presented to us. So yeah, the series kicks off with that massive destruction. They are forced to move on, and they decide that actually they really do want to be heroes in this and do something about what's happened. And so they go off to the most defensible city in their land to try and seek out the mages and clerics of this city to give them an army to try and return and defeat the dragons. What they're given instead is a massive plot hook into a quest to go and get some god items, where you can see how they're going to how it's going to go. The different characters are going to get items that were used to destroy or to fight gods in the beginning of their realm, and they're told where one of them is, and they have to go get it. So by episode 3, they've found it, but are in steadily more and more trouble as things keep going a little bit more bad every single time. They go for someone for help. Turns out they're actually wanted there for 12,000 gold. That kind of thing. It's a great little romp. And for those of us who actually do know Dungeons and Dragons, there's some great nods to everything. There's even callbacks to stupid things in the first season where they were trying to lockpick through a door and couldn't get through it. And obviously in the game that it was based on, they kept getting critical fails in their ability to pick a lock. But in this one, Grog picks up a giant steel door to defend them from dragon breath, and it actually works. And the little throwaway comment is, "Oh, look, a door that actually helped us." as they're leaving, so you can see they've upped the stakes, they've upped the story, and I think they've upped the setting. They've brought more things into this, more character, and I think it's actually going to be a great little romp through an adventure. So,
I was certainly impressed. I echo everything Thaylien says. I'm not 100% sure on the must watch. But if it is, it's like I can easily follow why people would enjoy this. So it's a good, fun, dumb series. You don't need to know Dungeons and Dragons at all in order to enjoy this. It is a fantasy series. If you don't like fantasy, then you're not going to like this. But aside from that, it's a great series. It is really good. And I'm actually happy it got a second season, right? Because it was on the table, like there was Invincible. Had its first season, and then it was like, oh, is it actually going to get its second season? Because there was a lot of issues between the guy who wrote Invincible, the comic, versus the guy who illustrated Invincible, the comic. And like the guy that illustrated it has had no creditation whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
So there was a lot of, ooh, what's going to happen to Invincible? It has only just had the announcement that it's going to get a second season.
Oh, God.
So yes, that's good at least. But I'm happy that just 1 year later we're getting the second season of Legend of Vox Machina.
Worth the watch.
Cool.
Carry on.
Right, next. Oh shit, that's me.
It's you.
Oh shit. Well, in the favor of saving best for last, or most talkable for last, I'm actually gonna go with Spy Classroom. Right?
Okay.
Now, I know there's been a lot of jokes with regards to Spy Classroom being a mix of Classroom of the Elite versus Spy Family. This is neither in any way, shape. It's taken the everything from both and discarded it entirely because, it actually does involve spies, right? So that's first off, that's a thumbs up right there. Actual spying going on, excellent. There are some. God, I'm arguing in my head. It's had 3 episodes. It has actually gotten on with the main mission. I'm gonna give this an acquired taste. It is quite possible gonna fall into a nothing special by episode 6.
Here you are saying such nice things about it off the bat, and yet.
No, but this is the problem though. It puts all its cards out on the table, right? So we have an impossible mission, and we have a select ragtag team of spies that are all flunkies, dropouts, from their respective spy schools. There's no, and impossible missions have a 99.9% failure rate. You have to be that good. You know, not even James Bond could do these missions. And all he does is tell everyone his name and get drunk. So...
Wait, do they actually allude to that? Do they actually try and say that?
No, that's me.
Oh, okay, all right.
But yeah, so the whole point is that they got this impossible mission. And by the end of the 3rd episode, that whole narrative is resolved. Keyword resolved. And they're now like, well, what are they going to do next? So, it could be a case of they actually go into some sort of classroom thing and it gets really dull and boring, or it could be a case of they go do other missions, like some sort of ragtag A-team, which would be great if they did. So there's a lot of potential for this to swing either way. So it could go super bad and end up dropping off the face of the earth, or it could maintain its goodness. So we have a scenario where we have a teacher who can't teach for shit, right? Oh, how do you lockpick? Like this. Bam. Locks unpicked. And you didn't actually teach us anything. No. This is how you do it. And he just does it. Like, we're not getting, like, what are you doing? He's like, and he basically compares it to, effectively, it comes so naturally to him, it's like breathing. You don't actively focus on breathing, and thus for him, he doesn't actively focus on spying. He's just that natural at it. Worst.
Right, now I'm focusing on my breathing.
I was gonna say, now you're focused on your breathing.
Shit.
Now you're focused on your eyes.
2 in, 1 out. Or... Anyway. So the whole point is that he's got to teach, and the other kids have special quirks about them. Like in the first episode, you discover that one of the female protagonists, you're not going to be able to breathe well, Thaylien, if you're covering your mouth. I'm just going to point that out, right? Step 1, you're failing. Right. But one of the main protagonists, one of the girls that basically is introducing the setting and everything, she is immune to any form of poison, right? Is it still a poison if it's inhaled? Is it still a poison if it's inhaled?
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, no, because obviously there's like venoms that are like injected straight into your bloodstream and things.
They're all poisons. The thing that is venomous is the thing that causes poison.
No, venom and venomous.
Venom and poison are different. Yes.
Venom and poison are different. The thing, I know poison is ingested, but I don't know if it can be inhaled. Right? That's the big. But the whole point is
it can also be put on your skin, and
yeah. So the whole point is that this girl, she is immune to any poison, right? And it's just her quirk about her. So she utilizes airborne poisons to like paralyze her opponents and shit like that. And it was something that her teacher just flat out wasn't expecting. Like shit, I didn't know you could do this. Like, yeah, well, you know, there's the shit you won't know about us. And that's the whole point. So it is a good series, at least the first 3 episodes. But the problem is the first 3 episodes resolves that mission. So it's like, oh, what's going to happen now? I don't know. So anyway, animated really well as well.
They're getting wise to the 3-episode rule. That's what it is.
Yeah, I feel like they are.
They fucking didn't with the Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel Northern War. They fucking failed on that one. I'm sad that none of those screenshots appeared.
Oh, well.
Well, okay.
So, while you two are saving your most, discussable, I'm going to go right now and do NieR Automata. NieR, a tomato. I am very near to a tomato. Luckily, Xeno does not have to kill me because I'm giving this a must-watch. Just flat out must-watch. I've never played the games. I've only kind of sort of watched Xeno play a little bit. I haven't really paid super close attention to like the dialogue or anything. So far, this has been really excellent. The pacing has been good. I don't know what they've changed. I know Xeno said that they put the robot girls a lot earlier than they come in the game. I'm sort of all right with that. It seems to work all right narratively. I like the two. I'm sorry, the android girls. The 2 support twins.
Yes, the redheads.
Oh, Rupala and Davila. Yeah.
Totally.
I like the way they have developed the robot AI in the gaining its humanity. I thought the episode where they spent a long time with it, and there was like almost no dialogue, and it was like, oh my god! But I understand everything that's going on. I love when shows actually manage to do that. It's so unfortunately rare.
Yeah, almost like environmental storytelling, as it were.
Yeah.
Again, it's show don't tell, which is brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah. I know the robot orgy has been memed to death, but I thought it was a really good way to show. Yeah, it has been already.
I've not seen a single meme for it.
Wow. Well, it will be.
Yeah.
But I thought it was also a really good way to show how they're trying to. It's almost like they remember people, and they're trying to mimic them. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it. It's so.
What I'm getting from the series so far, as it were.
Yeah, even though they were the enemies of people, they remember them as well.
See, I've played the game all the way through, all of the endings.
So you know where it's going.
So I am actually appreciating the small adjustments they've made for the anime, because the things that you find out in the game are paced for a game.
Right. Yes.
This is actually better pacing for an animation.
That was the problem with what was it? Giant Beasts of Ars. It's paced like a video game. Whereas this feels like a video game that has actually been adapted into the pacing of a show. It honestly feels really good, and yet I also hear that even from Xeno, it's still really true to the game, even though they have moved some stuff around and trimmed some stuff out, or slimmed it down a little bit.
Traveling out into the desert in a truck instead of going there themselves, but they still got there through the same character and had the same little character interaction with it. So, and
the robot stuff apparently went on a little longer. Sorry, the machine life form stuff apparently went on a little longer than we saw, but that you still get the same impact from it, I think.
So just to clarify, that's the machine life forms in the desert.
Yes, in the tunnel or underground or whatever.
Not the new stuff that happens in episode 2. So the new
flashback stuff,
it's completely new.
Okay. The ball didn't exist. The Adam and Eve fight went on a little longer, but I think it still makes a really good impact on you.
Yes, it does. They've got the right weighting of importance on the different events. And of course, Xeno will recognize when they actually find that city, the old human dwellings. They seem to have almost painted over as a still from the game for some of those. It's really well done.
Just to further, I love the use of the game music. It's all the music apart from the intro and outro are from the game. And I'll be honest, this may shock you. I don't know how to rate this yet. I really don't.
That's fair because again, you've played the game, so the changes. You don't know exactly where they're going to go with it, and if they're going to follow the same path. I get that. But as somebody who's not seen it, good, really nice sci-fi story. Like,
it's extremely well animated by A1 Pictures. Like, they knew which parts they needed to animate the best. The expansion of the characters from Resistance.
That clearing his throat, that's just so meaningful.
Which hurts.
I got a cold. Give me a break, okay? Anyway, I mean, I could just point to the two statues right behind me over my shoulder. Anyway, the CG. There's like two places the CG is butt, right, in the first episode. Don't CG 2B. Just don't, right? Unless you
do a bajillion polygons.
Just don't do it. Just come on, just animate her. Just 2D animate her inside the CG frame. It's fine. Again, I like the fact that they're mixing both 2B and 9S's stories together as opposed to just like.
So this scene you can see on screen, you wouldn't see that until your second playthrough.
So it's really nice that they did that. It's a nice homage to the thing. I'm pretty sure Yoko Taro had a very strong hand in the writing of the script for this.
He certainly had a hand in the character modeling.
And it's a really good series.
I think
it's doing well.
Okay, so the one thing that might be difficult for people who haven't played the game is the whole they're working for the
Yoha.
something of humanity.
No. Yoha, and their phrase is glory to mankind.
Okay, but there's also like a council of whatever it is or something. I can't read.
Yeah,
Council of Humanity is based.
They did explain that humans went into hiding after the end of the war because they were nearly wiped out. There's a Council of Humanity that gives orders to the androids like Yoha. Dispatch their agents to Earth.
But okay, so my question is, they haven't really gone too deep into that, like where they are, what they're doing, how they're still alive. They do that at all in the game.
They don't go into it. There's one thing I really want to talk about. It's very brief, very nitpicky, right? In the game is set in the year 11,000. Right? I can't remember the exact date, but it's 11,000 and something. The aliens do arrive in the year 5,000 odd. It has been 6 millennia this war has been going on. But for some strange reason, the series states the aliens turned up in the year 5,000 odd, but then they don't elaborate at what year it currently is. Now, I don't know if they're trying to say that, this is now, or because it's actually really early on in the war of humanity versus the aliens that humanity leaves Earth, right? It's not, they've been there for for thousands of years, right, on the moon, yeah?
Yeah.
But they don't allude to that at all in the series, and I don't know why.
My guess is that they're trying to make it a little more like accessible. if I hear this war has been going on for 6,000 years, my brain kind of goes, that makes no sense. That's not possible.
I'm wondering if they're going to make this
600 years I can almost buy though.
Yeah,
so maybe they're doing something like that.
They're going to make it a plot point, Xeno. I wonder if they're going to make it a plot point so that maybe the
like what we're seeing now
are actually unaware
Yeah.
Of what year it is, maybe. You know, something
that's
like
also
that.
Possible. Ooh.
Yeah. So then, so maybe the fighters themselves aren't aware of how long precisely it's been, or what kind of scale that is for humanity.
The human resistance would.
They aren't human.
I'm unsure.
Are they
Yeah,
not?
they're all androids. They're all androids.
All,
Anyone,
every character you see will be either a robot or an android.
Right.
machine
Okay.
life form, or
All right.
android.
All right.
Yeah.
They can make that a little more clear.
Well, they kind
They
of
do
did
in no, they do in the first episode, but the problem is that like this is knowledge you have to retain, and this is
Well,
one
there's
of
that
the
girl
important
that's
points
like,
of the
I want to take
series.
you apart, and I'm like, but you seem like a human. If you want to take an android apart, you're.
But
yeah.
here's the crazy thing. Like they remember they do elaborate in it in I think it's episode 1 or 2 how the fact that the early resistance models, all the early models of androids have to eat and consume sustenance in order to keep their batteries powered.
So Yorha's just the Yorha models are just a superior right?
Yes, the Yorha models are the advanced androids that are designed.
So
to
that's
not require
why
that.
she would. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha.
So it's
gotcha.
It's again, it's like that in the games as well. It's like, wait a second, are you human or are you not human? Nope, they're all androids. There is not a single human being on Earth.
Right.
I think that's a valid statement. So again, like it's a good series, but again, there was another point that I had was I didn't like the fact that in episode 3, and taking into consideration there was a week between the two, in episode 3 I didn't like how much it skipped on I'm just going to call it the orgy scene, because that was really it was really it was a real pinnacle moment in the game. Because, like, wait a second, this is the first time you are truly seeing the machine life forms not just be soldiers, right?
But we'd already seen in the anime them being farmers and making the flowers and everything.
In the prior episode, and that's the problem, right? So it's not the end of the world. If you binge watch the series, you're not going to have that problem. But if you're watching it week on week, you're going to forget things like the fact
I disagree. I disagree because it was such a big part of that episode. It went on for so long. It made such an impact with how it had nearly no dialogue.
But you've already proven my point, the fact that you've forgotten that all the...
But that was just like a throwaway background line. That was just like... That was exposition.
They literally went back to it in this episode. In the third episode, they went back to it where they've had all of the bodies outside of their outside the robot orgy were android bodies.
That's true,
including the former thing.
Yeah.
They're all mechanical.
Yeah.
So all of the missing people, including the missing Yorha operative.
I'm also questioning how long, how far into the game is the series going to get. The game is approximately, without having decked out the wazoo systems on your second playthrough, the game will approximately take you 30 hours to complete. I am hoping, for the love of God, they only do effectively the first 2 playthroughs of the game and just end basically halfway through the story and do a season 2.
Yeah,
you don't want to rush it. You don't want to rush it at all.
How far would you say we are into it right now?
I don't know,
first
maybe...
hour or so?
No, more than the first hour.
Oh, yeah, because we're up to the robot orgy, so yeah, I'd say at least 3 hours.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah. 10 episodes would actually be, if at that pace, the whole game, but I get the feeling they're going to slow down a little in the middle and really focus on... Yeah.
But don't forget, they have already showed some characters in the opening sequence.
I know. I am...
Anyway.
Have they?
Oh,
no,
yes.
They haven't. There's only the 2 characters that don't really make an appearance until...
is it the end sequence then? One of them has shown...
No, that's the A. That's the we'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
Right.
We spent a lot of time on this one, and we got Trigun next.
We were going to. Yeah. Well, that was your fault. Let's go for it. Go on, Thaylien.
Listen to me very closely. Some people will not agree with me, but I'm going to give Trigun Stampede a must-watch.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
I may be wrong.
Really wrong.
She'll tell you why. It's because I am taking this show as if it's new.
I am too.
I'm taking the show
actually.
But that's the thing. I am really enjoying what they've done with the characters, what they've the world they've set up, and the stakes that they put into this. People who've watched the first one will say, well, they've changed out some of the characters. They've adapted some of the situations. Some of these are just, different to how they happened the first time, and they're even diverting from the manga. But at the same time, I'm genuinely hooked on these episodes. The third episode is as well. Just the scale of the stakes they've put into it has massively set this apart from what I was expecting it to be. And I think that what we've seen so far from these first 3 episodes, I think bodes well for a really good series going forward. So the loose thing for people who haven't seen it is that we start off literally on a desert planet. We're learning about
desert planet.
Well, not quite.
Sorry.
We learn about
No Man's Land.
We learn about the fact that there's people that are trying to get through, that are living basically in a desert land, almost like a tamer version of Mad Max. And the only thing that's keeping them alive are plants, power plants. And our protagonist here is Vash the Stampede, or the humanoid typhoon. And we follow him as he's met by 2 journalists who are looking to uncover the real story behind him, because he's called the humanoid typhoon because he seems to leave destruction in his wake wherever he goes, and people are accusing him of having destroyed plants in cities. But when they actually catch up with him, and when he goes to the next city, he's actually really friendly with all the people there, and has helped them fix their plant in the past. So the whole problem is that that there's more going on behind the scenes. So it's oh dear.
I really just want to be respectful. I really do just want to be respectful and let you go.
Just keep going.
Not being
nice.
The
whole point was we're not...
Go on.
So, I am really liking the setup for this show. I'm liking the animation. I'm liking the characterization of the people we've got, and I like the actual weight they've put on things. Hit me with your.
No, please. If you're not done, continue. I honestly do not want to. I know I buttered it a bit at the start, but I really do want you to get all your points out. I do not want to.
No, that's it for me. The villain of the story is brought in and given so much gravitas with this. He's introduced fairly early on. You see flashbacks. You see how they got there. You see what he is as a character, and then he follows through in episode 3 with a level of destruction. As is on par with Vox Machina. I'm telling you, it's an awe-inspiring sight, but also terrifying, because how do you compete with that? They've brought in aspects that the anime didn't bring in for a long time, and I think that's given us far more of a lead-in to where the story is actually going to go than originally. I think that they've really enhanced the they've really enhanced the dichotomy they've enhanced the dichotomy of Vash the Stampede, the humanoid typhoon, and his prowess as a gun battler and duelist, with the fact that when he's not being Vash the Stampede, humanoid typhoon, he's complete baby girl. And that is his. He will cry, he will scream, he will beg other people without any kind of shame. And you see the reasons in the flashbacks and in the worlds around him and the way people treat him, why he feels that way, why he acts that way. I mean, it's not quite as cheesy as the original Triguns shouting at the camera, "Love and peace," but it has a little bit more weight to it this time. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I really want to see what they've actually done with this adaptation.
Okay, now
right.
Do you want to go and then I'll go?
I would love to, because I'm actually pretty generous to this. I wanted to give it an acquired taste, but like a high-end sort of acquired taste, because I loved the first 2 episodes, honestly. I didn't mind the changes that they made with Meryl and Millie. I mean, I love Millie, don't get me wrong. I love Millie. Apparently in the manga, Meryl and Millie didn't have that big of a role, which surprised me. But I like the dichotomy between her as the novice and the old man as, you know, the veteran. I really think they captured Vash really well. I agree with you on that, Thaylien. His attitude, you know, when that switch flips, it's perfect. It's really good. I disagree with you on the gravitas they placed on Knives, because okay, the animation's not too bad in most places, honestly. It does have a weird mocap feel, which I'm not entirely happy with. And the shading is a little odd. I also feel like the mechanisms were better and more gritty and real in the older version. But in general, I'm fine with it. But Knives' cloak is so bad. It's just the worst.
Again, not him. I mean, what he does.
No, that too, because part of the point was making Vash do the bad thing. Vash is the one who loves everything and wants them to survive. Sorry. Vash is the one who loves everything and wants both sides to survive. And Knives making him use his power to destroy a city was part of the point of how bad Knives is. Knives could do it easily, but making Vash do it, that's the bad thing. That's the really...
Yes,
and he's just like, yeah, and it's really
also came...
It also looks terrible when he does it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is awful.
Really? I really liked that animation.
No, it was awful. It was terrible. Oh.
See, that's the thing. You've got to introduce Knives as a credible threat before, but the... so I thought that this, you know, him destroying a town first.
Okay, what's worse? Making him destroy it. What's more of a threat? Making him destroy a town or making you destroy the town?
I think he's going to do that too. To show how easily he can destroy a town. Because that was something I didn't quite get from the original. Yes, he was evil making Vash destroy a town, but they didn't have Knives show that he could have done it himself anyway. Not until afterwards.
Yeah. Knives, to be fair, Knives should have been there in place of Legato.
Probably, yes. Still, that was the thing. Yes, I think that having this show that Knives is absolutely fine destroying an entire town to get his way, to get away with the plants, to do what he's doing, I think that's a great build-up, because now you see that if Vash actually then is caused to do the destruction himself, it makes Vash as bad as Knives.
No!
In the theory. No, in Vash's mind.
Oh, okay, maybe, yeah. All right, yeah.
In Vash's mind, it's going to cause that grief.
I'm helpless to stop the
showed
thing.
him what, like, so, yeah, I'm helpless to beat him, and he can bring me down to his level. I think that's where they're going with this.
I don't know. I thought it was just a really bad presentation of because I think him making, especially after saying, oh, you don't have full control of your gate yet, and then making him do a thing is like that to me says Knives could do this easily, but he's making Vash do it to prove a point.
Yes, but
I think that would have made more of an impact.
We don't know what that is. We don't know what Knives can do easily yet, unless he does something stupid like this.
No, but
somebody with full control of their gate.
Yeah, it implies that he has control of his gate and he could do this, but he doesn't need to because he's so powerful he can make Vash do it. He's that powerful. He's even more powerful than Vash.
No,
because Vash can't even do it himself.
The first time through. I didn't get that from the first time through. I got that as Knives was a manipulator the first time through, that he could do this, but it didn't make Knives himself powerful to me.
Okay. Yeah.
See? So that's the thing. Knives didn't have weight to him as anything other than a manipulator back in the original series until the further battles. So
yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Just saying. We can probably argue this point for hours, and
we could argue back and forth, but we've gone a full double time on this one.
Yeah, and Xeno still has to get his point in.
Let's hear from you.
Okay. Oh. All right. This is a steaming pile of shit.
What?
I love the animation. I'm not a fan of the redesign of Vash's coat. If you could, give some more complexity to Vash's coat, remove that hood
and his arm.
Fuck. No. You can keep the arm. I'm not gonna shit on that. You can keep the arm. You can keep the changes to his hairstyle, the glasses. Fine. I like the level of fidelity that they're putting in the environment. The environment looks fantastic. It looks like a fucking oil painting that Leonardo da Vinci did at any camera angle. It looks fantastic. The ambient occlusion looks phenomenal. And I swear that this is pretty much animated on ones for the majority of the series. The voice acting is, again, brilliant. The pacing is good and healthy. I'm not a fan of the fact that Meryl doesn't exist at all. You
mean Millie? But
no,
yes.
Millie. Sorry, Millie. And I hate the fact that Meryl's been railroaded to a child, teenage character. I don't understand the necessity for changing from insurance investigators compared to news reporters, but that one isn't that big a deal. I'm not.
Point to that one. Just point to that one. I think it makes a little bit more sense because before they were, as insurance people, they are basically doing their job wrong because they're actually finding ways to make their company pay out. Whereas as journalists, they could be doing their job right.
That's not true because the whole point was the. Actually, no. I want to focus on this one. Hang on.
I don't. Meryl actually ends up as a reporter in the end of the manga, reporting on Vash.
Okay.
So, I'm just saying maybe that's it. Maybe that's an illusion. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying maybe it's an illusion.
Okay. Trying to think if there's any other good points to highlight. I like the redemption arc of the Nebraska family. I like the redemption arc of that.
Yeah.
Now, if you will allow me to go on my soapbox and give my speech, and I'll do it in as calm a manner as possible. I do not like, in any way, shape, or form, the alterations to the narrative. I do not comprehend why all of a sudden the plants are the most important thing in the universe. I don't understand why all of a sudden Knives is Dr. Octopus.
Sorry.
Right. I do not understand why the whole existence of the Kill Squad was there to die at the hands of Vash is now no longer a thing. And instead, let's go steal the plants. I do like the fact that they introduced not one, but two of the Kill Squad that I recognized. I had no idea who the fuck the doctor or the little girl was. Feel free to interrupt at that point if you recognize them, because I didn't.
I think the little girl is supposed to be Zazie, but I don't know for sure.
Which one's Zazie?
Zazie the Beast. I believe he can mind control people. He can make them not move or something like that. It's weird.
Yes. Yeah. No, I vaguely remember that one.
I think that's supposed to be Zazie, but yeah.
But the fact that all 3 events, the fact that he gets captured by the town, the fact that he gets basically dueled by, God, whoever the fuck these military people are.
Yeah,
right?
It's the July military or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, fuck knows who the fuck they are. The fact that he's fights the Nebraska family, the fact that he fights the, I can't remember his name, but basically the bomb guy, yeah, who didn't do bombs in the series, but or the manga, and the fact that Knives turns up within a single 24-hour window is mind-bafflingly bad writing. That you have 4 separate attempts, no, it is 3, of stealing this plant. And I do not know why the narrative has shifted so massively away from Vash.
So it's only the Nebraskas and...
No, Nebraska's did it, the bomb guy did it, and now Knives has actually successfully done it.
Yeah, but I think the bomb guy was working for Knives.
He was.
Yeah,
but
he was part of that.
That would be part of the same attack.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't.
Classify this as part of the same.
Yeah, the whole thing with
it was the same day,
guy.
Sure.
No,
same attack because they all came. Remember his whole gang.
Yeah, they were all there. It's just that he went in first, and then the other ones came in when he failed.
But I'm surprised that you think there's a shift to the narrative to make the plants important. They were always the cause of it.
Important.
That was Knives' whole reason for doing it in the original show and in the manga is because he wanted to save
in fact,
plants,
it was more
not
important
the humans.
in the manga. Yeah, the anime was actually more made up of side stories, apparently.
Yeah.
But it did it well. Don't get me wrong, it did it really well. It took those side stories and crafted a beautiful narrative. But the plants were always supposed to be the focus.
But I don't ever remember in the manga where basically Knives had people stealing plants.
I don't know about that. No.
I don't ever remember that.
I've only done a little research into the manga.
I only ever remember
look it up. But that was the whole reason Knives did anything in the first place.
No, the whole reason.
The plants.
Okay.
The whole reason that the seed ships were destroyed was because Knives wanted to kill the humans and save the plants.
Yes, but he didn't destroy the plant ship.
No, he didn't suppose because he wanted to save the plants. He wanted them.
No, he wanted to create a utopia for Vash and Knives.
Well,
yeah, that was it.
Well, because that's getting into spoiler territory. That's getting into spoiler territory because of who he and Knives and Vash are.
Yeah, which hasn't been revealed in the anime yet, or this anime yet.
Yes.
I don't know if at the rate it's going, I don't even know if it will get revealed.
Yeah.
Either way.
Well, the original was 36 episodes, or 30, 39, 39.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was only 24.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
still.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
so we've had our little debate.
Yeah.
But
was there anything else you wanted
my
to
show, I'm going to give it a must-watch because now that you've heard the 3 different points of view, you guys can watch for yourselves and tell us which one of us was right.
No.
Let us know in the comments.
Don't. Just go watch the original.
I did.
Yes,
I did.
Watch
that
the
is
original.
That is actually on my last.
Yeah.
No. It just makes me want to watch the original so far. Like again, the first 2 episodes are really good, but I did the whole you gotta make Vash do the killing. You gotta make him feel bad. Anyway. I've been over that.
But that didn't happen until much later on in the original show, did it?
Yeah, but then he had
He only killed I think 1 person.
Legato, I think, in the end.
Yeah,
the rest
I think that's
themselves.
the only one he killed. No.
Well, and the town that he was made to destroy.
No,
but that was in like a flashback. That was in
Oh, July. Yeah,
much like the bomber in this one, where the bomber failed, went back to.
Whoa! Wait, hang on. This could be in the past, because they're going to go to July. They said that in the end of the 3rd episode. What if he's going to be made to destroy July? No, they said that in the 3rd episode they're going to go to July next. What if he destroys July in the next? What if he's made to destroy July in the next episode, and then we time skip to the future to the more known Trigun setting, and Millie shows up with Meryl.
If they wasted 3 episodes or more on this weird
setup.
Because the whole point is that like the whole events of the Nebraska family and what's called the town betraying Rash, that happens well later.
Oh yeah,
July is supposed to be the very first thing.
Well, July is in a flashback that we don't see until later.
No, but the whole point of July was the first time Vash ever became known as the
Stampede. That's yes, as the Typhoon. You're right. You are right about that. Anyway, we spent way too much time on this.
Yeah, far too much time.
For my theories to bog us down now.
I'd rather
let's move on to Xeno's final pick.
Final point.
In Spectre.
Final pick.
No.
You had all your points.
Oh my god. I want you guys to turn to me at the end of the series and say, yes, it's worth watching. Right? That's it. Like I don't want to watch this and keep going. But anyway, right, let's move on.
That's fair.
Right, my final pick is something good actually. So this is Inspector. It's the 2nd season. And it is such a different take on narrative writing. I really want to give this a must watch, but it's 100% an acquired taste. Like, this is the top end, the tippy top of acquired taste. The reason why is it's oh my god, this best way I can describe this. This is a series where characters are written smart by smart people.
What?
Right?
Wait, no, this doesn't happen. Wait.
Yeah, so there's a lot of... Huh? He keeps on peeking his mic.
Sorry, when I get really loud, I'm sorry. I need to put a compressor on it or something.
Excited. Anyway, so the whole point is that in Spectre, it's a series where effectively a girl ends up becoming the goddess of all supernatural beings within Japan, right? She is the goddess of wisdom. She is still human, but her singular role is to make sure that the balance between the supernatural and natural is maintained, right? And she comes up with some of the most interesting, sometimes long-winded, most interesting points of view between characters. Like, so it's very much... Oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to say this. So we got the whole controversy of the Velma series. Velma wishes it was this, right? It's a brilliant series. So we got our goddess, and we've also got the goddess's love interest, who in turn is some human yokai hybrid, right? So amongst the yokai, you have mermaids. Mermaids are immortal, right? But eating mermaid flesh can kill the individual, right? It's a very low possibility of surviving. And effectively, I can't remember if it was a grandmother or grandfather of a family.
Before you go, what's the effect of surviving eating mermaid flesh?
Makes you immortal. I already said that part.
Yeah, no, mermaids are immortal, but if you eat their flesh,
if you survive, you inherit the immortality.
Yes. Right? So if you
survive, it's taking the worm from Dune. Drinking the water of life. That's what it was.
Anyway, the whole point is that I think it's a grandmother or a grandfather. One of them basically gets all the grandchildren, right, across the whole family, and has prepared a meal for them. And it's everyone, all the kids are eating a piece of mermaid flesh. and 2 survive. I think it's 2. Was it 1? No, it is 2. I'm sure of it.
Brutal.
At least 1. At least 1. Right? And then immediately after, that grandchild is then given the flesh of another yokai who can see the future. Right? But the whole problem with that yokai is as soon as it sees the future, it dies. Right?
But they can't die.
Because they're immortal, right?
Because they're immortal.
So the whole idea is that they see the future, they die, then they get back up again, right? And this image here is a depiction of our male protagonist who is grabbing on the string of fate or strands of fate or whatever that will allow them to actually traverse that timeline, right?
So picking the future from what he sees.
So while she is the brains, he is the brawn, right? And it's a really good series. The first season is a little hard to digest because I think the ultimate fight spans 4 or 5 episodes. It's quite a long one. It's certainly better to binge it, but the first 3 episodes of this one are great. I'm loving it. It's really good. The animation, art style, just the whole thing, it's fantastic to look at. It is such a good and often it's one that a lot of people reflect on. So, and if you like the whole murder mystery sort of style of narratives, you're going to like this. Actually, Nasuth, you may end up liking this.
That's.
I've got. I can see this being one that I think Nasuth would like.
Yeah,
my list of anime to catch up on is growing.
It's actually a smart anime written by smart people, giving us interesting ways to deal with, the supernatural meeting the real world.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look for dubs because it sounds.
I haven't watched this new series yet, but I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah, the first one's really, really, really good. So
speaking of dubs, sorry. Finish. Sorry.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if you watch the first season dubbed, you may want to wait for the second season to either finish airing in Japanese first and then watch it, or watch it all in one go dubbed. Because the big problem with a lot of these with this series is that there's a lot of talking back and forth, and the pacing in the first season was just like, oh, what the F. Anyway. Right. You had a... Yep.
Yes, some small side point. Going way back to Junji Ito's Maniac, the dub features so many familiar voices, especially for anyone who's watched any JoJo.
Really?
Yeah. Lots of very familiar. Wow. And also Way the House Husband. Yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So you like this one. You like this one.
Yes, very much so. Right. And then your last one, Nasuth.
My last one is I was just on it. Revenger. Yes.
Yep. Realize I have to press the button.
So I'm gonna give this one. I know you've been watching this as well, Xeno. I'm actually gonna give this a must watch. For real. For real. I was surprised because I watched Bakumatsu Bad Boys, which is very, very similar to this. But that one ended up squandering all its potential. It had too many characters to go between. It was a little too on the goofy side. This one is really, really interesting. There's no fantasy twist to it. It's all just political intrigue and morality sort of stuff going on. Instead of the prisoners being samurai, which as they were in Bakumatsu Bad Boys, it's a quote-unquote disgraced samurai who was tricked into becoming disgraced, essentially, who joins up with a bunch of con men? No, not con men. How do you... Assassins?
Hitmen. They're just hitmen.
Yeah. But they're doing it for... It's sort of like a Japanese A-team, right? You've got...
the A-team didn't kill people.
Okay. A Japanese A-team that kills people.
Do they fly a tank?
you've got the pseudo-Christian priest, the scientist physician, the rogue, the cross-dressing geisha. Although in Bakumatsu Bad Boys, it was a girl cross-dressing as a boy because girls couldn't be samurai. And in this one, I'm pretty sure it's a boy dressed up as a young girl, which is sort of an important plot point in episode 2, 3.
I don't think it's been elaborated, has it?
No, but she I'm gonna call her she because that's how she presents. Yeah. Seduces like a weird guy, you know, a guy who was in a pleasure house with a geisha who was pretty clearly a man. And he's like, "Oh, you're washed up now." And then he sees her, and he's like, "Oh, you're perfect." And you know, she's got this flat chest and all this stuff. It's anyway. That's a little bit neither here nor there. The whole story of him becoming a disgraced samurai was interesting. Him being recruited into the A team has been interesting. The view of the disparity in society has been interesting. The what is science rot when they start introducing this stuff. Sorry, I don't know if that's actually peeking here, but anyway. The what has science wrought in when they introduce like the big massive bow that the doctor is shooting, and the cleated spike shoes. Oh, it's so good, so good. Episode 3 was really long. Well, felt really long. It packed a lot of stuff into it, with him learning to live with these criminals and them learning to live with him. And I'm really excited about where it's going. I'm really excited.
I feel that this series has a lot of potential, but also has a lot of power to just stay the same. Now, be it just stay the same, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. But I think this is a series that's best suited for like a 2-season arc, not just a single season. But it could still work quite well. So I mean, I'm certainly enjoying. I'm still making time to watch it and think.
I'm actively excited for this one each week now. Honestly.
I think we're done.
Any questions, Thaylien? Any?
No. I'm not sure it's the kind of one that I would look into, but I'm glad it turned out to be something you're really enjoying. Because when I saw it, I thought, this might go a little bit sideways considering what the last couple of ones that Nasuth has actually watched might do. So I was a little cautious when I saw this on your list.
It's refreshing to have a nice period piece. Honestly, it really is. I guess that's it. Yeah.
Right, yeah, let's move on then. Let's move on to...
That is the last of it, so...
Supporter questions.
We are now on to the supporter questions. Okay,
so Zrugel says, before we start the supporter questions, it's that time again. Ask everyone to like and subscribe. And anyone who shares the video somewhere else gets a prize. The prize is gratitude. It genuinely, it's very much gratitude.
It's gratitude. Gratitude is way better than exposure, though. So be aware of that.
What about gratitude and exposure?
Ooh, and that'll get you jail.
Wholesome dad sayings. Yes, we can do that.
Anyway, so Zrugel asks, what is Murder Dr. Loz's favorite fast food restaurant? McDonald's.
Yep.
It's sad he couldn't be here to enjoy that.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
We'll make sure he knows.
We'll tell him about it when he regrows.
Right. Turkey, Christmas tree. I think that's an exploding star. Naza breaks a breaker of Tiamat's heart. I understand that now. Finally. Right. Asks, there won't be a Kanpai Cast next week in order to make way for the 24-hour charity stream benefit St. Jude's Children's Hospital. What shonen training regime? Is that supposed to be 2 questions, Naza, or is it just...
No, there won't be a...
No, it's just...
Okay,
What
so
training
because there won't be one.
That's a setup for the actual question.
I just wanted to check, right? What shonen training regimen do you plan to engage in to make sure your body, mind, and spirit are prepared for the task? Okay, this is really easy for me. I'm just going to eat a metric fuck ton of ramen in the hope that there will be a cursed finger amongst them.
I wasn't sure whether you're going to go for the finger or the hair.
Yeah, I was torn between the finger and the hair, but I thought I'm more inclined to find. Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm probably more inclined to find the hair in the ramen, but regardless. Okay. What about you, Nasuth?
I would do the time dilation chamber, but unfortunately, all I'm going to use it for is to sleep the entire time so that I'm fully rested and refreshed and prepared.
Oh, the ability to stop time so we can have a decent night's rest. That
I know.
Right, okay. Totally Not Thaylien asks, watching drama romance anime is always a test of how much disbelief you can suspend. In watching Tomo-chan Is a Girl, we have yet another male character who's almost deliberately blind to the attractive redhead.
Debilitatingly blind too.
What? Debilitating? No, it's
debilitating. No. You're debilitatingly blind also works. I agree.
Yes.
To the attractive redhead tomboy childhood friend that likes him. Is it possible that anime is even harder to suspend disbelief for than one of the most recent Transformer movies?
We're reaching levels of sigma male with this guy that should be unreachable by physics.
No, nobody likes gingers. It's perfectly natural.
In America,
Yeah.
I mean,
the whole point is they're soulless, so they have to come to you for that kind of adjacent warmth.
I'm just glad that Rias has red hair and is not ginger. Anyway, right.
She has.
Anyway, right. So, Totally Not Thaylien also asks, I have personally been presented with an interesting first for my anime watching. I found that one of the new protagonists for this season actually shares my name, and so I am now rather more invested in watching the show than I really should be, and am having a very hard time not self-inserting onto the character. Is this how the vapid, blank personality afflicted teen girls felt about Twilight? And do you think that this would also happen for you if a protagonist had your name? Right, okay, no. I can't talk about the teen girl thing, right, but I'm going to tell you a short story, right? My name, Drew, is very distinct. Very few people go by the name Drew, and in fact, it's to the point of whenever someone says Drew, they pretty much are just talking exclusively to me.
Yeah, because most of them are Andrews, aren't they?
Or Andes, or whatever, right? They very, very rarely go, right? Now, here's the big thing, right? If you know me, you know I do a lot of Warframe content, and I have been to Canada, right, to TennoCon and thing. That is the first and only time someone has called out the name Drew, and they weren't referring to me.
Like that.
Now, here's the big kicker. Not only was there 2 Drews, there was actually a third. All 3 of us at the same convention with the same first name. I never had that experience in my life before, and it was so confusing.
That's funny you should say that, because I literally work with 2.
Lol.
I work with a Drew male and a Drew female, so I don't think it's a rare name. That's interesting.
I've never met anyone else apart from these 2 with my name, and they're over the pond. So, but if they actually had an anime with that, I'd just be like,
whatever.
Yeah.
What about you, Nasuth?
That's just.
Yeah,
I suppose that's just cool.
No.
That's so cool.
I think it was the whole betrayal thing as well that just suddenly a person with my name that's been for a very similar betrayal. Suddenly, oh my god, they've like looked into my soul for like, relatability on this one.
I would say this is. I would say this is probably the same feeling that most people who watch hentai feel inserting themselves onto the blank-faced protagonist.
Nazith, let's not. Nazith,
I'm just saying.
Nazith, no.
I'm just.
Right, so moving on to the comments. Moving on to the comments. So, first come the comments from Kanpai News. Rugal says Nasuth is making up stories again, like a real journalist. I don't know what the context is for that one.
That was. Oh shoot. There was a story that Laws caught me on that I hadn't fully read and made an assumption on, and I can't remember what it was now.
Wikipedia. Anyway. To which Nasuth responded, Nasuth, yes, Papa. Making up news? No, Papa.
Telling lies? No, Papa.
Okay. Gotta get that one. Anyway, and now on to the comments from last week's episode. Zrugal says, Nasuth criteria for best waifu is pretty funny.
Yeah.
What the fuck was your...
Makima.
Oh.
I like a girl that can turn me into mush.
Hold on. Thaylien, have you read Chainsaw Man?
I haven't.
Have you read Chainsaw Man?
I have not read it. No.
Okay. Right. So, moving on. I'm pretty sure Zrugal has, but anyway, moving on. Edward Paddock says, Ari, is it wrong to isekai a slime girl overlord in a dungeon with your uncle from another restaurant to another world zero with a pickup truck kun? Nasuth assumes this is for the best isekai. Probably. Okay. Discworld Zrugal asks, wasn't there supposed to be a Google form? Fuck! Yes, there was. I genuinely said that to Nasuth and went, no one's gonna fucking remember. No one's gonna fucking... Anyway, right, so that is it for... Yes, there was. Sorry.
We'll do.
There was complications of the release of the episode and we forgot to add it, so... Anyway, right. So moving on to the memes. So all the memes are from various different Reddits, and if you want to find more memes, we release them daily over at twitter.com/Kanpai_cast.
I believe Trex Paddock actually even sent me one of the ones I'm using this week, my meme number 6. Yeah. So look forward to that.
Yep.
Right. So my first meme: another day without using the quadratic formula.
Oh my. It's not a quadratic formula.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Is that? No.
No, it's not the quadratic formula in the slightest.
No, you're on the level of Velma there with getting that one wrong.
I swear that's the... Okay, well, whatever. Whatever. What a cockroach looks like outside the house. What a cockroach looks like inside the house.
Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah. Yep. The FBI, my VPN.
Yep.
Oh God. What do you think he's listening to? Probably heavy metal or hard rock. And it's just the
intro to
Dragon Maid track.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do listen to that as well.
It's a good. I mean, anime
and
music.
You have a manly beard too.
Music.
Yeah, especially when I'm at the gym.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, yeah. Anyway.
Oh my fuck.
I'm atomic.
Yeah.
And so this one is a little long. We're only going to watch a little bit of it. What's wrong? Junji, ready to reset the world.
And then you swap the mic. Yeah, okay, there we go. Here's my first. Yep.
Oh my god,
Here's my first meme.
Watch Kanpai News for more news on this.
Take it in. Just take it in. Just take it in. Oh yeah, feels good, doesn't it? Right. My next meme. You got Mappa and Final Fantasy devs. Are you trying to compete with us?
Wait, what was this for?
This is again Attack on Titan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's going to be Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah,
it's the final season and Final Fantasy.
When your PC is old, but it gets the job done. Okay. Be good to me again today, my little war machine.
Nice.
Yep.
Adorable.
No. No.
This one I had to put in. I just had to put this in because, like, look, it's someone cosplaying Gundam Aerial snowboarding. It is. Go back to 4 and come back to 5.
I'm pretty sure this is another that's another cosplayer. Yeah, that's more.
Yeah, that's
Maureen.
Yeah. And then last.
Something
Hold
beginning with M.
Hold on. Nasuth, hold on.
Sorry.
I love how I say hold on. His reaction is hit button. Right, take a breath. Take a breath.
All right.
Now press them. And obviously it's when a girl
introduced.
Yep, when a girl likes a guy, she will give him visual hints that she's interested. Yep.
Oh, fuck me, that's amazing.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, you win.
I give you the best memes. Right, okay, so next week we're not having an episode of Kanpai Cast because literally 2 days after the release of this episode, we are doing 24-hour live stream. After which, we are not going to want to spend any time together to do another episode of Kanpai Cast. But we will take the opportunity to plan out what we're going to be doing for the next several weeks. So, there you go. So that is it.
For that. See when I appear, because as we know, I'm the main character of Elden Ring.
It's true.
Right, so thank you very much, everyone.
Do stop by, say hello, ask us anime questions, anything and everything.
Yeah. You know, comment on which one of us was correct for Trigun.
Yeah.
You got time. Anyway, right, so again, thank you all for watching / listening, and now it's time to bottoms up and Kanpai!
Kanpai!
My glass is actually empty.